Alright, you and I are diving into a wild world where basic hygiene does not exist, survival of the fittest is the only rule, and our main character somehow ends up as the tribal king. Suddenly, every single girl in the village wants him, but time moves fast. While out hunting during a full moon, he notices a strange shape dangling from one of his hunting traps. He cautiously approaches since there is zero noise, meaning it is probably not some wild beast. Axe in hand, he moves closer to investigate, and what he finds completely shocks him. It is his female friend stuck in the trap, hanging in a rather compromising position. He cannot help but grin, which absolutely furious her. She yells at him to stop staring and help her down. He jokes that this is a once-in-a-lifetime view, while she screams threats to beat him up. Our hero just chuckles, teasingly asking if she plans to kick him with her tiny feet. To push her buttons, he gently blows on her foot before giving it a slow rub. The beautiful elf blushes deep crimson, letting out some highly questionable sounds. Talk about playing with fire. She panics as voices draw near. Not wanting her people to catch her hanging in such an embarrassing way, he quickly cuts her down. But trust me, his life was not always this good. Long before the local women were fighting to have his babies, he was actually being hunted by the angry tribesmen. Let us rewind to the very beginning to see how this started. He originally woke up by a river in a bizarre, unknown wilderness. Just yesterday, he was a regular guy shopping in a busy modern city, so he has no clue how he got here. Then strange voices echo nearby. A group of wild-looking people approach him speaking gibberish, making him think they are just cosplayers. He asks for directions, but a kid suddenly hurls a sharp bone that barely misses his head. Missing his skull by mere millimeters, he does not waste any time. He bolts into a full sprint as the angry hunters chase after him with furious screams. Now keep your eyes on this part. He thinks he is safe because of his track skills, but a flying spear changes everything, and suddenly a survival system kicks in. The system demands he survive 12 hours to unlock one attribute point and a starter pack. Too bad a massive, hairy caveman already has him locked in his sights, throwing a weapon with terrifying power. He runs, but fails. He takes a brutal hit to the neck and black out instantly. By the time he opens his eyes, he is trapped in their tribal village, but hey, he officially survived and earned his rewards. He dumps his single attribute point straight into strength and tears open the reward pack. Instantly, he gains the ability to speak any language, unlocks an active map, and gets a survival guidebook. Best of all, he is gifted a legendary mountain-splitting axe alongside a wealth of knowledge on jungle survival and basic medicine. Suddenly, he can understand the tribesmen. A massive warrior claims he is the strongest, while a nearby woman begs to carry the chief's baby. Yeah, child support definitely is not a thing here. Realizing he is stuck in the early stages of a civilization-building game, our hero dreams big. At this rate, he could easily become the president or even a living god of these lands. He commands the system to boost his strength and equip the mountain-splitting axe. Instantly, raw power surges through his veins, allowing Chen to snap his ropes like thread. However, two aggressive warriors, Stonebone and Languchi, immediately spot him. Stonebone barks orders at the tribe to block all exits. He and Languchi step forward, blocking our hero and warning him there is no escape. Dripping with confidence, Chen yells back, demanding to know how they dare disrespect a god. Stonebone looks confused, asking what god he is talking about, while Chen assumes Languchi is the leader. He lies that heaven sent him to guide them, warning that punishment awaits their disrespect. This absolutely enrages Stonebone, who charges forward with his weapon. Right then, the system drops a brand new mission. Let us stop and think for a second. If he fails this mission, he loses his legendary weapon, and you and I both know he will not survive out here without it. Determined to survive, Chen blocks Stonebone's strike head-on. The force is so immense it literally shatters the dirt beneath their feet. Chen is blown away by the barbarian's raw, unpolished power. But remembering his own newly buffed strength, Chen shoves back with everything he has. With a clean slice, his axe snaps Stonebone's weapon right in half, leaving the entire tribe frozen in utter shock. Just as he starts feeling like a boss, a sudden wave of dread washes over him. Sure enough, his instincts are right as Stonebone commands the entire crowd to jump him together. Utterly speechless, Chen spins around and bolts. He is deeply offended that these guys turn a fair duel into a 20 versus 1 jump squad. As a young hunter lunges, Chen dodges and counters flawlessly. Furious, Chen warns them to back off, shouting that he will easily drag 5 of them to the grave with him if they force his hand. Deep down, he knows a full swarm means game over. But to his absolute confusion, the barbarians suddenly scream in terror and run away from him. That is when the system triggers a new emergency quest: save the tribe from a terrifying predator. The system force accepts the dangerous mission. Chen stares at the notification in confusion, but the confusion turns to pure horror when he realizes a massive saber-toothed beast is breathing right down his neck. The second he spots it, Chen bolts like a madman. The beast gives chase, snapping and clawing at his heels as he runs. Sprinting in panic, he curses his luck, wondering why literally everything in this prehistoric world wants him dead. A single bite from this monster could rip him in half. Before he can even find cover, the beast's sharp claws slice open his back, leaving a bloody wound. Knowing he cannot win a raw test of strength, Chen forces himself to ignore the pain and think. Sighting smoke rising from the camp bonfire, he remembers a basic rule of the wild: predators hate fire. Crafting a quick plan, he lures the beast closer, even shouting a loud challenge to keep its attention. As the monster leaps, Chen tries to slide underneath to dodge. Instead, the smart beast uses his back as a springboard to jump higher. Gasping for air, Chen runs, realizing action movies lied to him. Running out of breath, he makes a mad dash for the flames, diving through thick brush and trees to break the beast's line of sight. Finally, he slides right next to the campfire. Grabbing a blazing branch, he waves the flames in front of the beast's face. To his massive relief, the giant cat backs away in fear. He yells a tough threat, but inside, he is desperately praying it leaves. Suddenly, a terrifying rumble shakes the forest, making him freeze. Could there be an even bigger monster nearby? Hearing the deep roar, the saber-tooth panics and sprints away into the darkness. Watching the massive predator flee, Chen shivers, wondering what kind of nightmare could scare off a giant cat. Luckily, the system saves him, announcing the quest is complete and awarding him 2 points. As more weird noises echo through the trees, he decides to get the hell out of there. He immediately tells the system to put 1 point into strength and another into agility. With his agility boosted, he rushes back toward the tribal camp, feeling lighter than a feather. When he arrives, Stonebone looks like he has seen a ghost, unable to believe the beast did not eat him. Chen plays it cool, claiming that overgrown cat was nothing but a harmless kitten to him. He brags about beating it into submission, flashing a smug grin to win over the tribe's respect. Suddenly, a new quest pops up. Build proper shelters, unite the tribe, and reach a population of 50 in 18 days. He counts the heads and realizes they only have 15 people total. So what do you and I take from this? Rebuilding a tribe takes time, but hunger waits for no one, and now he has to hunt in the pitch-black night. He is amazed that these simple folks sleep soundly without setting up any guards or security, but as his stomach growls again, his thoughts drift back to that juicy roasted meat from earlier. All right, you and I are about to dive into a crazy survival story where our main character, Chen, has to find food in a world filled with absolute monsters. Let's hope he survives. Gripping his stone axe tightly, he sneaks back to the spot where he saw that roasted meat earlier. After a tense walk, Chen finally makes it. He moves in with extreme caution, scanning the area for any danger. Suddenly, he spots other dead animals nearby. Realizing a true leader must provide for everyone, Chen gathers them all up. But on his way back, a sudden chill runs down his spine, and he falls straight into a deep pit. Furious, Chen yells out, but then he looks closely and freezes. This is no ordinary hole, it's a massive footprint of some colossal prehistoric beast. He finally realizes that this world isn't just primitive, it's an era crawling with history's most terrifying, gigantic monsters. Knowing they are sitting ducks, Chen decides he must find a safe haven for his people immediately. By the next morning, the tribals are already aggressively fighting over food. Annoyed, Chen shouts at them to stop. He sees they have zero concept of sharing or rationing, meaning he has a lot to teach them. Chen declares that today, the food goes to the brave hunters first. Stonebone explains their usual rotation system, listing who went yesterday and who should go today. But he admits that if their new king is going out, the entire tribe wants to follow. Everyone cheers, but Chen spots the young boy, Sam, who had previously attacked him. Sensing the kid is terrified of a grudge, Chen decides to ease his fears. Now pay attention, because here's where we see the gap between our modern hero and these primitive people. Mia steps forward, completely confused, and asks him what a home even is. Chen gently explains that a home is a safe sanctuary where they will grow together, feeding and protecting their family and all future generations. Touched, Mia rushes over and hugs Chen tightly, asking to live with him forever. Chen smiles and agrees, but Mia gets so excited, she loudly announces that the king wants to have her babies. Stonebone interrupts the awkward moment, asking exactly where they should build it. Gathering them around, Chen explains they need a prime location: mountains protecting the north, rivers to the south, and plenty of resources like fresh water, stone, and wood. They also need fertile land for farming and access to the sea. A delta would give them rich soil now and help them build ships in the future. Hearing this, young Sam speaks up, claiming he knows the exact perfect spot. However, he warns them that a highly dangerous herd of cows currently guards the area. Chen is completely baffled. Why fear simple cows? To him, they represent a massive jackpot of meat and materials, so he orders everyone to prepare for a hunt. Marching east, the tribe heads toward their future territory. When they arrive at the edge, Sam assures Chen that the immediate path ahead is safe to traverse. Chen urges them to move fast, telling them not to fear any beasts. If a tiger shows up, their king will handle it. Sam points out that they will see the herd from the peak. Reaching the summit, Sam anxiously orders everyone to hide, making Chen wonder what is down there. Catching the salty sea breeze, Chen commands his system to pull up the map. He grins this valley is absolutely ideal for a massive city. Suddenly, Sam pulls him down, whispering to stay quiet. Sneaking a glance, Chen scans the environment manual and detects 3 rare plants and 2 local creatures nearby. He identifies unique flora and fauna, including lethal pincer, wasps, but there is still no data on the cows. Intrigued, Chen asks Sam where the herd is hiding. Sam points to a dense forest near the river bend. Sneaking closer for 30 minutes, they reach the edge where Sam warns they must tread lightly. Let's pause right here, because you and I both know that whenever an anime protagonist gets too confident, things go horribly wrong. Chen suddenly senses a massive threat. Luckily, the scan shows only one creature. Chen wonders if Sam exaggerated, but then a massive tree shakes. Sam points upward, and when Chen looks, his jaw completely drops in sheer horror. The system identifies it as an iron blackhorn cow. Cowardly hiding, Stonebone asks if they are seriously hunting that colossal beast. Swallowing his fear, Chen orders them to prepare an ambush while he scouts ahead alone. The tribals watch in absolute awe, thinking their king is legendary. But secretly, Chen is crying inside. He has to rely entirely on his high agility stat to survive. One look tells him the beast's legs are literally bigger than his whole body. Hunting for an opening, Chen tries to awkwardly wave and say hello. But the beast immediately spots him, letting out an earth-shattering roar of pure rage. Instantly, the entire angry herd charges. Chen dashes across the river, screaming for his life, while the clueless tribe thinks their heroic king is sacrificing himself to lure the beasts away. As the tribals gossip, Chen desperately leaps off a high ridge to escape. He lands hard, but the entire cliffside suddenly starts violently shaking beneath him. Peering down, he sees a giant cow crashed into the rocks. Realizing they cannot climb steep cliffs, Chen cooks up a plan to wipe them all out. Looking back, he realizes he is trapped. With furious monsters waiting below, his only option is to keep climbing higher up the treacherous peak. Reaching the summit, Chen gazes out and is completely struck by the breathtaking view. This is it. Right here, he vows to build his legendary empire. Excitement fills him as his real journey starts. Meanwhile, Sam notices the beasts retreating and wonders where on earth their mighty king disappeared to. Assuming Chen was trampled, Stonebone climbs a tall tree just to salvage the king's valuable axe. But the moment he reaches the top, that exact axe flies by, embedded next to him. As Stonebone gapes in shock, Chen appears, teasing him for assuming his death. The relieved tribe gathers, and Stonebone asks if the cows were truly that dangerous. Chen explains he will eat the meat to boost his stats, offering them a taste. Terrified, both Stonebone and Sam instantly say no. They whine that the beasts are unbeatable and their meat is inedible. Chen snaps, demanding a straight answer. Shaking with fear, they quickly change their minds and say yes. Chen promises to teach them weapon crafting and hunting techniques, aiming to slay the herd in 3 days. Suddenly, Chen slices a massive tree in half. The tribe is flabbergasted, but Stonebone asks why he would destroy a fruitless tree. Chen explains they are making deadly weapons, telling everyone to watch closely. He demonstrates carving raw wood into lethal spears, noticing a sudden bonus to his technology attribute. And trust me, you and I are going to watch this tribe turn into an absolute powerhouse once they realize the true power of weapons. Stay tuned. Alright, you and I are about to dive into an epic prehistoric survival story. Thrilled by the new weapons, everyone wanted a turn. Chen had Stonebone try first while he crafted more. Soon, the whole tribe was training. While they practiced, Chen called over his top warriors to attack him together. They charged in a total fury, but Chen dodged both strikes like it was nothing, quickly countering and knocking one of them flat out. Furious, Liu Tang charged again, barely scratching Chen to draw a drop of blood. Everyone froze in shock, but Chen calmly warned him if he had used the sharp end, Liu Tang would already be dead. Liu Tang cried out that their king was basically a god. They could never win. But Chen shook his head, explaining they relied too much on raw power instead of actual skill in the weapon's sharp point. They had to aim the sharp tip precisely at enemies or wild beasts. Next, he ordered target practice. Setting up a wooden mark, he made them hurl their spears from a distance. They all took shots, but not a single throw connected. Chen started worrying they had zero talent and he had rushed things. But then, out of nowhere, a spear slammed right into the target. Chen blinked in disbelief, and the tribe gasped. Someone actually hit it. Turning around, he saw Huang Shu holding his ground. Chen asked if it was him, and the boy just asked if he had won. Chen nodded and handed him 2 spears as a prize. Right then, a scout ran over, yelling that a beast was heading their way. Chen ordered everyone to stand ready, though secretly, he was thrilled. This was the ultimate field test. Suddenly, a massive beast crashed through the trees, roaring fiercely. Chen charged straight at the monster, shouting that dinner was officially served. With the battle underway, Chen yelled at them to follow his lead, surround the beast and wait for the signal. Striking first, he managed to somehow slow down the creature's speed. Chen ordered Stone Bone and Hangi to launch their spears from behind. The weapons hit, driving the beast into a blind fury as it rammed Chen back, snapping his weapon in half. He had to move, fast. But watch this. Before the beast could stomp him, Huang launched a spear straight down its throat. What a shot. Inspired, everyone started throwing theirs, while Sam waited high in the trees. Overwhelmed by the barrage, the beast tried to flee, but Chen blocked its path and yelled for Sam to strike. Leaping from the branches, Sam drove his spear deep into its head, sending it totally berserk. The tribe froze in terror. Sam was wide open, still clinging to his stuck spear. Chen dashed in, leaped high, and brought his heavy axe crashing down. A huge blast erupted, swallowing the battlefield in thick smoke. Everyone cried out, terrified for their king. But when it cleared, Chen casually told them to stop screaming like they were summoning ghosts. He praised their teamwork and promised a massive feast, making the whole tribe explode in cheers. Chen commended Sam before naming Hangi the undisputed star of the hunt. Hangi was officially promoted to Chen's hunting party to test out brand new gear. A while later, the scene shifted. Stonebone was busy bragging to everyone about his supposedly vital role in the hunt. Seeing Mia walk past with a juicy cut of meat, he shouted for her to hand it over to him. Mia snapped back, saying this prime cut was strictly for their king. Handing it to Chen, he stared at it, asking if they actually ate meat raw. Mia just blinked, wondering what the issue was. Chen pointed out they used fire before, so why eat raw meat now? Mia explained they had lost their previous fire source, leaving them with absolutely no choice but to eat their food raw. Chen realized that fire was the true starting point of civilization. It scared away predators, warmed up their shelters, and made meals safer. He decided it was time to give them another gift. He would teach these ancient people the secret of making fire. Grabbing a broken spear shaft, he rubbed it hard against a block of wood to create a spark. He showed them how to pack dry shavings and tree fluff into a groove, then roll the stick between their palms to generate friction. When a bright flame finally erupted, the tribe stared in absolute awe, worshipping their king. Stonebone started screaming to the heavens that their king was a god of fire. Chen grabbed him instantly, telling him to shut up because staying low-key was highly important. Right on cue, the system rewarded him 10 technology points. It turned out earning these points was actually pretty easy. Now, I know what you are wondering. What are these points even used for? Well, they let him identify legendary plaques for 10 points a pop. But as Chen was thinking about this, Sam rushed over with some surprising news. While carving up the meat, he noticed the beast had been nursing. This meant there were piglets nearby. After a quick search of the forest, Sam actually found them, instantly triggering a side quest for Chen. The mission: build a pen and domesticate the wild boar cubs. The system offered him the quest, and Chen immediately sent Mia and Sam to fetch them, warning them to handle the piglets with extreme care. Mia grabbed Sam's hand and dragged him toward the forest. Meanwhile, Chen decided to build a proper pigsty before they returned with the cargo. He ordered Stonebone to finish eating quickly because he had major work for him. By evening, a tired Stonebone was hauling heavy branches, whining about why their king needed so many. Returning to the den, Stonebone saw the tribe twisting strange materials together. Confused, he asked Hangi what they were doing. Hangi explained it was grass rope, which was way stronger than standard forest vines. He showed him the process, smoothed the straw, then braid the fibers together tightly. But Stonebone just got more irritated because he still had absolutely no idea what the point of any of this was. Chen told him to stop loafing around and bring those logs over. He directed the tribe to tie the branches together using the new grass rope, aiming to assemble at least 5 sturdy wooden frames. Next, they place the frames into deeply dug pits. They lashed the top beams together to create a solid dome cage, then covered the entire structure with clean straw. But once it was finished, the tribe charged inside, fighting over who got to sleep there and carry the king's babies. A deeply traumatized Chen yelled that this luxury pigsty was absolutely not for them. Just in time, Sam and Mia returned with the piglets. Chen ordered them to put the boars inside the pen. Stonebone immediately burst into tears, begging Chen not to waste such an amazing home. He cried, asking why such a gorgeous mansion was being wasted on wild pigs. Aang clung to Chen too, agreeing completely. The entire tribe was literally begging to live in the pigsty. Stonebone even suggested it would be the perfect spot to cuddle up with their king. Disgusted, Chen shoved him away, shouting that he had zero interest in cuddling with dudes. Aang froze, quickly backpedaling. He said if there was a better house coming, he would gladly wait and let Stonebone have this one. Chen just sighed. Stonebone immediately rejected that idea. Ignoring their foolishness, Chen ordered Sam to throw the boars inside. Huang Shu walked over, totally confused about why they were raising beasts meant for food. Chen asked if they wanted an endless supply of meat without risking their lives hunting. Hangji nodded eagerly, and Chen explained that breeding these boars would guarantee food forever. This successfully completed the beast-taming quest. Opening his reward chest, Chen found a precious bag of salt and a brand new recipe for delicious fried clams. Chen stared at the salt, wondering if the system wanted him to become a chef. Even in this primitive era, completing culinary tasks would apparently unlock massive special rewards. Determined, Chen decided to give cooking a shot. Late that night, while the entire tribe slept, only Chen and Sam remained awake. Chen warmly thanked Sam for his tireless hard work. Sam humbly replied he was just making up for past trouble. Chen laughed, hugging his loyal friend to show there were no hard feelings. Stick with me to see how they conquer this stone age next time. Alright, you and I are diving into a wild tribal world where our main character asks if other clans are nearby, but Sam warns him none of them are friendly. Chen wants to know their exact locations. Sam reveals there are 3 nearby groups: the Coconut Grove Clan, the Bay Clan, and the Giant Stone Clan. But they are all located pretty far off. Getting to any of them takes a whole day and night. Chen demands more details. Sam starts with the Coconut Grove Clan, about 30 or 40 peaceful people who travel well, led by a powerful female chief. Next up is the Bay Clan, also 30 or 40 strong, but way more aggressive. Sam says they are constantly fighting each other. Lastly, there is the Giant Stone Clan, the biggest and strongest group. They live up on a southwestern mountain and only come down occasionally. Apparently, their leader has godlike strength and can kill a tiger with his bare hands. Hearing this, Chen realizes the peaceful Coconut Grove Clan is the perfect target to absorb first. The other clans seem way too chaotic and violent for now. But as Chen plots his next move, he feels a sudden warmth. Mia is hugging him tightly from behind. She whispers, asking why he is not asleep, teasing him with an invitation. Freezing up, Chen gives a flat no. Mia then strikes a playful pose, asking if she looks like a cute kitty. Panicking completely, Chen grabs Sam and claims the poor guy needs urgent help. Promising to talk to Mia later, our main character literally runs away with Sam. Mia is left looking pretty rejected. Fast forward to the next morning, Chen and Sam are staking out the coast, waiting. Sure enough, the Fierce Bay clan arrives to hunt some dodo birds. Chen is relieved they finally showed up after an all-night wait, but his jaw drops when he sees the clan members immediately beating each other up over a single bird. He wonders if they can conquer this clan to gain manpower and secure those precious resources. But Sam points out they are outnumbered 2-1. A head-on fight is suicide. Now pay attention. Because Chen knows better, weapons can level the playing field. But first, they have to take down that massive herd of wild cows. Heading back to the camp, the tribe cheers the moment they see Chen. Stonebone admits they were terrified their king had abandoned them for good. Chen apologizes for the scare but rallies them for the work ahead. He orders Stonebone to drill his spear throwing, while Huang Shu gets exactly 1 day to train the rest of the warriors into lethal shape. Then Mia shows up holding a large leaf, happily explaining how comfortable it is for bathroom use. Chen deflects, telling her to gather the women and collect stones to sharpen their spears. A bit later, Mia returns leading a group of women carrying heavy stones, asking if these will do the trick. Chen nods, instructing them to grind the rocks against wet stones until they are razor sharp. Tie that sharp point to a wooden shaft with sturdy rope, and boom, they have got stone-tipped spears. The girls are amazed by this technology, but Chen gets annoyed when the system only awards him a single point. He tells them to keep working and show him their progress. Mia quickly calls him over, proudly presenting her first completed weapon. Chen checks it out and finds a perfectly crafted double-edged spear, giving her major praise. Mia beams with joy, and suddenly, Chen triggers a hidden system feature talent discovery. He scans Mia and finds she has an elite talent for toolmaking. Noticing his intense gaze, she blushes and asks why he is staring. Chen brushes it off, urging the women to mass-produce weapons. Together, they craft 30 spears and axes, with Mia single-handedly making more than half of them. Talk about a powerhouse. That is when he notices her hands are covered in raw cuts from grinding rock. As Chen shows some genuine worry, Mia blushes. Instantly, the other girls crowd around, teasingly asking if he cares about them too. You and I both know he is totally out of his depth here. Blushing hard, Chen calls it a day and runs away to escape the female attention. He heads over to check on the men's training. Suddenly, a heavy wooden log flies straight at his head. Chen dodges just in time, realizing it is part of their drills. Hangu is clearly a fantastic instructor. When Chen asks for an update, Hangu proudly shares that the warriors have improved massively and can now hit targets effortlessly. Scanning him, Chen's system reveals Hangu is a throwing master. Hangu mentions that while Ludding is incredibly strong, his timing is off, and he only unleashes his true power alongside Stone Bone. He adds that Languchi was the first to master the skill. But the biggest surprise, Hangu and Stone Bone's crazy teamwork. Individually average, but together they throw 4 spears in rapid alternation with lethal accuracy. Chen is thrilled. At this rate, taking down the Black Bull herd will be a breeze. Stone Bone asks if he is sure, and Chen nods, revealing they will also use his secret weapon. Hangu blinks, asking what this secret weapon could be. Chen pulls out a bunch of strange black leaves, telling the men to study them closely and gather as many as possible. He warns everyone not to touch them with open wounds. This plant contains a potent natural paralytic. Later that night, Chen gets to work carving a stone. Mia brings over the spears, asking about the shallow hollow he carved in the rock. Chen explains it is a mortar. He tells her to gather the girls, crush the toxic leaves into paste, and coat the weapon tips with it. Ludding approaches, offering the men's help with grinding the leaves. Chen tells them to rest up instead. He needs them fully charged for tomorrow's massive hunt. Next morning, Chen is enjoying salted grilled meat when Mia suddenly tosses a spear right at his feet. She grins, announcing the poison coating is finally done. Chen stands up, ordering the women to guard the camp and kids, while the men follow him to the mountain. The excited warriors grab their gear, ready to show these beasts who is boss. Reaching the mountaintop, Ain voices his worry, asking if it is really safe for their king to act as live bait completely alone. Stone Bone assures him their king is insanely strong and will be fine. Suddenly, Sam cuts in, telling everyone to get ready because something is moving down by the river. Stone Bone tells the women to hand out spears quickly, especially to Sam once they are in position. Their king is risking his life, and losing him is not an option. Let's look at what happened. 10 minutes earlier, Chen was scouting the Black Bulls, planning to use the mountain as an escape route. To keep things safe, he decides to lure just one small bull first. He sneaks up on a smaller bull and chucks a rock right at it. He boldly declares himself the boss, daring the beast to come and get him. The bull snaps, and suddenly, 3 massive beasts are charging right at Chen. Hightailing it out of there, Chen yells for Stone Bone to target the leader. Stone Bone rallies the troops. Poison spears fly through the air, wounding the charging beasts. Seizing this perfect opening, Sam launches a lethal spear straight into the bull's neck. As the bulls crash, Chen leaps for a ledge but slips. At the absolute last second, Stone Bone grabs his hand and pulls him up. Chen yells to keep attacking while the beasts are weak. Stone Bone steps up, masterfully directing the next wave of strikes. Watching him, Chen recognizes true leadership talent and understands why his commander is so effective. Stone Bone reports that the massive beasts are finally going down. Trust me, you and I are about to see this tribe become unstoppable. Alright, you and I are jumping into a massive beast raid where things go south fast. The tranquilizer hits early, but Sam screams that the charging herd is closing in. Chen is shocked by their sheer speed, but demands everyone stay calm. This was all part of the plan. They just had to finish off the 3 targets below and prevent any escape. The Black Bulls try to back away, but the poison has them moving slowly. Seeing the poison take hold, Chen yells to target their legs to halt their escape. Stone Bone barks an order to fire, and with a volley of spears, the 3 giant beasts crash to the dirt. Chen calls a halt, but Stone Bone argues that mercy is a death sentence here. They must finish these 3 before the herd arrives. Chen demands a weapon count, and Mia reports they only have 28 spears left. Chen orders Sam to scan the horizon, and Sam spots about 20 charging bulls. Chen nods that is exactly why he stopped the attack. They cannot afford to waste a single precious spear right now. Hangu asks if they are just going to abandon all their hard work on those three beasts. Chen smiles, not a chance. This was always part of the plan. Taking a massive herd head-on with a small squad was never the play. The real objective from the beginning was their leader. If the boss falls, the entire pack will scatter. To lure it out, they needed perfect bait. That is why those black bulls must stay alive and under their control. Chen admits his original plan only required a single bull as bait, but dealing with the other two drained far more weapons than he anticipated. Suddenly, Sam shrieks, the boss has appeared, and the thing looks like a giant demon. The monster roars, sending the entire herd charging straight at the mountain like suicide squads. Everyone freezes, wondering if these beasts have completely lost their minds. But Chen instantly realizes the boss has no interest in a direct brawl yet. Then, a massive tremor hits. The very mountain beneath them is beginning to crumble. Chen screams for everyone to retreat and seek shelter, but Mia slips as the cliffside gives way, plummeting into the dust. Without a second thought, Chen dives right after her, calling for Aegon to back him up while Hu Zhao and Langu Choi leap down to assist. Now here is where things get intensely dangerous. With their backs to the wall, a brutal melee begins. Hu Zhao asks if they should charge, but Aegon warns him to wait for the leader's command. He realizes the massive boss beast saw right through his strategy, and its intellect is deeply unsettling. Stonebone orders the high squad to defend their leader, but Chen roars at them to hold position. They have to keep the high ground and rain down spears. With that, the real battle erupts. Chen swings his axe furiously while the squad engages with spears and stone axes. Moving as one cohesive unit, blocking and striking in waves, they start dealing serious damage. Stonebone seizes the opening, shouting for the upper squad to unleash a lethal rain of spears on the targets. Several beasts drop dead, and suddenly, the entire herd halts as if hearing a command from their master. To Chen's utter shock, the herd begins a slow retreat. He wonders if the boss ordered them away to settle this duel alone. As a heavy downpour begins, the Beast King steps forward, takes a deep breath, and unleashes a torrent of blinding flames. Chen instantly screams for his people to scatter. The devastating firestorm tears right through the stone, blasting a new path to the peak. The tribe watches in absolute horror. Whether it was a roar or a magic blast, the sheer impact completely shatters their will to fight. Seeing his warriors freeze, Chen barks orders for On to evacuate Mia and the survivors north while he draws the boss fire. He tells Stonebone to await his signal, then steps up to face the giant beast himself, declaring war. They collide head-on in a test of pure strength, but the monster casually throws Chen aside like a ragdoll. Chen tries to exploit the newly blasted canyon path, but the boss pursues him, slamming into the mountain with explosive power. The onlookers hold their breath, terrified that their king has just been vaporized. Yet they refuse to flee, steeling themselves for a final stand. Suddenly, a flash of steel erupts as Chen's axe bites deep into the beast's skull. He survived. He used the freshly blasted tunnel to escape the deadly impact. Chen even laughs, mocking the monster for missing, though internally, he knows his body is at its absolute limit. Now, I know what you were thinking. Are they finally safe? Well, not quite. The battle rages on as Ayan and Hu Xiao distract the massive monster, trying to open a clean blind spot for Chen. Ayan makes a heroic leap but gets impaled on the beast's wicked horn. Chen charges without fear, slashing the monster's face to shatter the horn and free his ally. The monster breathes another wave of fire, but they dodge, and Chen counters with a perfect strike that rips open a massive gash. He immediately screams for Stonebone and Sam to drive their spears into that exact wound. The spears find their mark, and the Beast King stumbles before collapsing heavily to the ground. The warriors begin to celebrate, believing the nightmare is over, but Chen remains deeply uneasy. Even with their king down, the herd stands silent, waiting. Suddenly, the boss rises like a demon, lunging directly at Chen with a fresh stream of scorching fire. Stonebone and Hangu freeze in terror. Chen feels his muscles lock, realizing his split-second hesitation might cost him everything. The beast tears the spear from its own flesh and hurls it straight at his chest. Too weak to dodge, Chen braces for impact. But then, the unthinkable happens. Mia throws herself into the path of the spear, taking the fatal blow. Chen is frozen in sheer horror. A flood of memories with Mia flashes before his eyes, and a wave of absolute fury consumes him. Ignoring his system's warnings of an impending physical overload, Chen launches himself at the monster. He swings his weapon with everything he has, cutting the boss beast clean from head to tail. This time, the titanic thread is literally split in half by his full-powered rage strike. Drenched in blood, Chen roars a challenge to the remaining bulls, demanding they step forward to die. The beasts share a terrified glance. and as Chen takes a single step, the entire herd breaks, fleeing in panic. With the threat gone, Chen collapses, his system flashing a critical life-threatening warning. He spits up dark blood, his vision fading as he slips into cold unconsciousness. The tribe rushes to him, but before blacking out, he hoarsely tells them to apply the healing ointment to Mia. Several days pass, and Chen finally opens his eyes, finding himself in what looks like a pigsty. Regaining consciousness, he sees Ao watching over him. His very first question is if this is the pigsty he built, but she sadly shakes her head. Following the raid, they relocated here, building this specific shelter for him. She urges him to rest while she alerts the tribe, but Chen stops her, immediately demanding updates on Mia and Langu Choi. Ao explains they found Langu Choi barely breathing, but he healed fast and has been guarding Chen's door. Mia's wounds were severe, but the king's divine medicine saved her life. With proper rest, she will make a full recovery. Relieved, Chen is told that over the last 4 days, everyone has fully stabilized. Chen suddenly freezes. What did she just say? 4 days. He scans the system interface, realizing his deadline is shrinking fast. With only 11 days left to complete his quest, Au can only watch in confusion as her king stares blankly into thin air. He attempts to stand but immediately collapses back down. Au begs him to stay in bed, but Chen pushes through the pain, ordering her to bring Stone Bone immediately. Nodding, she rushes out. Left alone, Chen knows that without his martial strength, any sign of weakness will ruin everything. Now that they have moved, they urgently need a sturdy fence, followed by massive wooden walls for real defense. Once Stonebone arrives, Chen keeps him right outside the door, whispering highly classified instructions into his ear. Stonebone leaves to execute the secret mission, but Chen knows a simple fence is not enough. This time, every detail has to be flawless. Trust me, you and I are about to see this tribe evolve. Finally, Chen gives Langu Choi his next assignment. Langu nods, ready to serve, and Chen commands him to harvest the Black Bull King's bones and skin, keeping that legendary hide completely intact. Alright, you and I are jumping right into a wild survival story where Chen just handed over his own weapon, stubbornly refusing to rest because he needs to speak with Al immediately. He brings her inside for a private chat. Once they are alone, Chen explains that he sent everyone else away because he has a highly critical mission just for her. Al instantly agrees and starts stripping, thinking things are about to get romantic. A totally flustered Chen screams at her to stop, making her realize her massive misunderstanding. Chen quickly explains he actually wants her to put on a grand performance to make the Coconut Grove clan submit to his rule, but a worried Ayu asks if such a massive, powerful clan would ever willingly agree to join their ranks. Chen explains that is exactly why they must show off their overwhelming power and force them to surrender. He then gives 2 major reasons for choosing her for this task. First, since that tribe is run by women, she can connect with them much easier. Second, she is the only one who knows his secret that his last, desperate attack completely wrecked his body. Some special medicine keeps things from getting worse, but he still desperately needs real treatment. Grinning, Al asks if they are basically going to bluff the rival clan into submission. She tells him to rest and leave everything to her. Later, as she and Sam head toward the enemy territory, Sam warns her that even though this clan usually hates conflict, they should definitely avoid making any reckless provocations right now. All nods in agreement as they keep moving forward. Once they arrive, Sam points out a nearby hot spring where the local girls are busy bathing. He spots their leader, the exact person they need to see. But before they can act, the guards catch them red-handed. Soon, Al and Sam are dragged straight in front of the clan leader, Lisa. The guards report catching these 2 sneaking around claiming to be envoys. Sam quickly speaks up, arguing they are not random intruders, but official ambassadors sent directly by their king. Lisa just laughs, mocking Ao for looking like a slave and ridiculing their meager gifts of fish scraps. She then immediately orders her guards to drag Sam away from Ao. Ao snaps right back, saying she expected the queen to actually have some vision. Since Lisa is blind to the future, that massive mountain of meat they brought will go to a rival clan instead. Lisa halts her guards and demands Au explain. Did she really say a mountain of meat? Au nods, revealing she is talking about those massive black bulls roaming by the northern river. Lisa asks if they want to form an alliance to hunt down that dangerous herd. Al laughs, telling her not to look down on them. They already annihilated the bulls, and that territory is theirs now. The guards are shocked, whispering that she must be lying because that same herd almost wiped their own clan out. Lisa stands up, threateningly asking Al if she knows the penalty for lying to her face. Al does not flinch. She says their king easily slew the biggest beast. Now watch closely, she boldly dares the queen to go see the proof herself. When a guard tries to warn Lisa, Al just laughs, joking that if their king wanted, he could easily crush this entire clan. Sam backs her up, explaining they came in peace with gifts and an invitation. Why doubt their peaceful intentions? Al then coldly snaps that if the queen is too terrified to go herself, she should at least send someone to pick up the free meat. The sharp edge in A's voice makes Lisa tense up, though she still warns them not to play any cheap tricks. Soon, A and Sam lead Lisa's group back to camp. Sam loudly announces that they have finally returned, but Stonebone barks at him to stop shouting and go help build houses instead. Hearing this, a guard wonders what on earth houses are, while Ao tells Chen their guests have arrived. The moment Lisa lays eyes on Chen, she completely freezes. A terrifying aura rolls off him like some ancient beast. Honestly, though, Chen just dressed up like a prehistoric monster on purpose. He praises Ao for a job well done, and his heavy pressure makes Lisa even more uncomfortable. Suddenly, a noise rustles the bushes. It is Mia, Languchi, and An hiding nearby. Chen had ordered all wounded members to stay hidden, but An admits he was just too curious to see what the queen looked like. Chen then thanks Lisa and her people for making the long journey to their territory. One of the girls instantly demands to know where this meat is. Chen calmly replies that it is nearby, and they are welcome to take as much as they can carry. Arriving at the spot, they freeze at the sight of a massive pile of meat. Hu Jan and Luang are already slicing it. As a girl steps up, they warn her the meat is incredibly tough. She tries cutting it with a sharp wooden stick, but it snaps instantly. Luang and Hu Jan burst into laughter, making the furious girl yell that they only caught the beasts because the herd panicked. Hu Jan fires back, asking if she wants to throw hands. But check this out, Chen throws his massive axe right between them, sending the girls leaping back in sheer terror. A terrified Lisa asks what kind of legendary weapon that is. It completely outclasses their primitive wooden sticks and bone knives. Chen tells him to use his Pangyu axe to carve the meat for their guests. Hu Jan complains that the girls started the fight, but Chen sternly commands him to obey. Grumbling, he complies, muttering that they got lucky. Chen promises Lisa she can take the food without any issues, stating he always keeps his word as a matter of principle. Nervously, Lisa asks how he managed to conquer such a wild herd. Chen answers that whether she finds out through trust or painful first-hand experience depends entirely on her next move. He then tells her to take the food and head back. Lisa calls him incredibly cold-hearted. Meanwhile, Chen secretly tenses up. That show-off axe throw was way too much, and his wound is dangerously close to splitting wide open under his bandages. And then it actually splits. Fresh blood seeps through, making Chen panic. Luckily, Al quickly distracts Lisa, giving him just enough time to hide the bleeding. Ayu offers some of their advanced weapons to the clan, but Lisa turns around and declines, claiming those heavy tools simply do not suit her tribe. She warns Chen that her clan has powerful weapons of their own that they have not revealed yet. After a tense moment, Lisa orders her people to pack up the meat and head home. Ao adds they can return for more if needed, though they should hurry before other clans claim their shares. On their trek back, Lisa asks her scouts for an update on their secret investigation. Lisa had hidden them nearby to spy on Chen's camp. One scout, Maya, reports seeing the men building strange shelters called houses, and she suspects they are keeping wild boars locked inside them. Lisa is stunned, wondering why Chen would build such nice shelters just for beasts. Maya adds an even more shocking detail: the enemy seems to have mastered the power of the fire god. Lisa calls it impossible, but Mia explains they saw flames appear out of thin air to roast food. She hesitates to continue, but Lisa demands she speak plainly without hiding anything. Maya reveals that Chen's clan only has about 10 people, mostly children and elders. However, she highly suspects they are intentionally masking their true military strength. Lisa angrily demands to know why they did not investigate closer. Maya explains that because the surrounding forest was cleared, getting any closer would have instantly blown their cover. They had to watch from a safe distance. Lisa coldly nods, then suddenly strikes them with her whip, warning that if they offer any more weak excuses next time, the punishment will be far worse. Mia bows low and thanks her queen for showing mercy. Back at camp, Chen finally lets his guard down as O approaches to check on his severe injuries. Chen admits the battle took a massive toll on him, praising Al for her incredible talking skills. And that's where we leave them, with Al teasingly asking if he prefers her over the queen. All right, you and I are diving back into the wild journey of our overpowered chief. Flustered, Chen tells Al not to get the wrong idea, asking her to bring in the men while Languchi guards the entrance so he can heal. Al giggles and calls him cool, making him blush hard. Right then, Sam runs in with exciting news. It turns out the Coconut Grove clan fell right into Chen's trap, placing sentries exactly where he predicted. Chen immediately asks about his other secret mission. Sam proudly confirms it is done, The Coconut Grove scouts only saw what Chen wanted them to see, completely missing everything else they were hiding. Chen praises his great work, making Sam beam with pride. He says it was nothing and rushes off to help Stone Bone and the others build the brand new house. Once Sam leaves, Ao asks if the Coconut Grove clan will actually join them willingly. Chen smiles, saying it is way too early to tell. The plan is only half done, and the next visit will trigger the second phase. Heading back to his shed to recover, Chen pulls up his status screen. He only has 11 days left, which is definitely not enough time to heal his wounds naturally. He commands the system to open his warehouse, finding only a packet of salt and one single tube of healing ointment. But then he spots his old axe. It upgraded into the legendary Axe of Pangu. How did that happen? A wave of unease hits him. He must have missed the system notification after giving the weapon to Languchi earlier that morning. Next, he checks his spears. The activation condition shows it triggered when he got wounded in battle. Apparently, using the world-creating skill requires flawless timing, neither a second too early nor too late. Now, pay attention here because things get complicated. He wonders if his other weapons have hidden specs too, but realizes they all have different conditions. Best to just leave it to fate for now. Checking the rest of his gear, he realizes the ointment only has one use left. He decides to save it for a real emergency. Until then, he'll have to rely on the axe to hunt whatever beasts are lurking nearby. He calculates the meat taken by their rivals will only last them 2 days. With time running out, he needs Sam's help immediately. He tells Languchi to summon the young scout right away. There is zero time to waste. When Sam arrives, Chen asks if he remembers those massive black bulls they scared off. He orders him to track them down within 2 days and report back. Sam dashes off instantly, yelling that he will find those bulls in no time. Watching him go, Chen appreciates how hard everyone is working, so he decides to craft some special gifts for them. While Sam is out hunting, Chen spends his time crafting. 2 days fly by in a flash, and when he checks the system screen, his deadline has shrunk to just 9 days. He unlocks technical points for making a stone spearhead, a bone whistle, and a bullhorn water flask. He plans to give the whistle to Stone Bone to make commanding hunts much easier. The stone spearheads will make their wooden spears far more lethal, just in case the Coconut Grove clan turns hostile. And that bullhorn flask, that is for Sam. Just then, all arrives with great news. The houses are finally done. Chen goes to inspect their work, and Stone Bone proudly shows off the new shelter they built. He beams with joy, shouting to ask if it looks cool. Honestly, Chen thinks it looks pretty bad, but he tells them yes anyway. The tribe erupts in cheers. They finally do not have to live in cages or sleep under random tree branches. Even though Chen is slightly disappointed, Stone Bone proudly slides the straw door into place, completing the build. Instantly, the system awards him 10 technical points for completing the housing project. Let's pause for a second and look at this. The tribe has completely transformed since we first got here. They started as wild beasts living on raw instinct, but now they actually look civilized. Their behavior is improving and their intelligence is skyrocketing. Chen wonders if the system itself is responsible, acting like an evolutionary booster pack for his primitive people. He tells them to alert him the moment Sam returns, then heads back to his shed. Sure enough, Sam comes sprinting back, shouting that he located the bulls. Chen praises him and announces Phase 2 is finally on. Ordering everyone to follow him, he pulls Stone Bone aside for a private chat. A few minutes later, Chen finishes explaining his plan and asks if anyone has any questions. Stone Bone nervously asks if it will really work, clearly terrified of the risks. Sam tells him to relax because he will handle the hard part. Stone Bone just needs to lead the charge. Chen hands Stone Bone the bone whistle, explaining it will make commanding the group a breeze. He then hints to Sam that a special gift is waiting for him after the mission, leaving Sam absolutely thrilled. With a smile, Chen reminds them that when they see his signal, they must act immediately. Huang Shu, Sam, Stone Bone, and Luang quickly split up to execute their roles. Chen realizes just how short on manpower they are, forcing him to put even the injured to work. He orders Ao to have Mia and Languchi prepare a massive bonfire right in front of the house, but warns them not to light it yet. Ao asks if this is for the guests who are coming. Chen nods, secretly wondering if the bait they laid out 2 days ago will actually lure them in. A bit later, a tribal girl suddenly spots a large war party from the Coconut Grove clan marching toward their base. She sprints back, shouting to Chen that their visitors have finally arrived. Inside the house, Ao was gently tending to him, and Chen was thoroughly enjoying the royal treatment. He even starts daydreaming about having both Lisa and Ao serving him once this clan is conquered. Hearing the news, Ao immediately heads out to meet them. She politely invites Lisa inside the palace, claiming their king is waiting. The word palace instantly catches Lisa completely off guard. How did they turn a flimsy straw shed into a wooden house so fast? She stares in absolute shock, wondering how Chen's tribe evolved overnight. Regaining her composure, Lisa smirks and asks if her king is too scared to face them. She casually mentions they want to avoid trouble, but they will be taking extra meat as compensation today. She adds that her warriors wanted to meet their new neighbors, hoping they do not terrify Chen's people. Ah just chuckles, replying their king already prepared 40 portions of meat in advance, so they are free to take it. Though looking at her squad, they did not even bring 40 people. Lisa then asks Ao why she does not just join their clan, offering her a sweet spot right by her side. O politely thanks her but admits she was completely won over by her king's raw power. She rejects the offer and leads them to the meat pile, telling them they can eat on the spot if it is too heavy to carry. She even suggests that if carving the meat is too difficult, Chen's warriors would be happy to lend a hand. Lisa orders her men to eat and behave while she heads inside to meet Chen. Stepping through the door, she finds Chen greeting her with smooth warmth. Seeing him in such a refined setting makes her blush. Trying to stay calm, she asks if this place is really his, admitting it looks quite impressive. Sensing her curiosity, Chen decides to show off, claiming this wooden house is just a temporary shelter. Lisa freezes, stunned, and asks if he actually intends to let his regular tribesmen live in such luxury. Chen admits it is basic for now, but promises to build them superior stone houses later. Suddenly, without warning, Lisa whips out her leash, binding Chen tightly and pulling herself close. Shocked, Chen demands to know what she is doing. Lisa whispers that she knows exactly how to handle men, boasting she can easily force him to surrender his secrets. She smirks, wondering if this will finally be enough to break his resolve. The intense closeness is incredibly stimulating, but Chen keeps his poker face and laughs. He asks if she honestly believes this can break him, or that he has no backup plan. Inside, though, he is panicking. Honestly, you and I both know he is sweating bullets right now. But thankfully, all bursts in to announce the feast is ready, saving his skin at the last second. What a wild ride. Alright, let's dive into this wild scene where Ah catches Chen and Lisa getting way too close. After a tense standoff, Lisa pulls back her whip, and Chen casually suggests it is time to grab some barbecue. He asks Ao if the fire is ready. Meanwhile, Lisa wonders if Chen is incredibly brave, has a secret master plan, or is just completely insane for staying this calm under her pressure. Unlike her own anxious warriors, his chilling composure is on another level. Outside, the Coconut Grove girls excitedly call Lisa over, shouting that the roasted meat smells absolutely incredible. Chen hands Ao some special salt to share with the Coconut Grove tribe. Ao distributes it, urging everyone to sprinkle a bit on their food for flavor. But Lisa instantly panics, demanding to know what they are putting on the meat. All fires back that if she is too terrified to try it, she can just starve. But seeing her own warriors devour the delicious food, Lisa realizes the truth. Chen smiles, secretly hoping they keep eating so Sam and Stone Bone can complete their mission. Meanwhile, near the wild black bulls, Liu Tang asks why they are hunting again when they already have plenty of fresh meat stored. Stone Bone snaps that they are not here for food, telling him to shut up and obey orders. Suddenly, Hangu's signal rings out, and they launch their heavy spears straight at the herd. The massive herd stampedes. Stone Bone warns Sam that the beasts are heading right for him. Showing zero fear, Sam leaps from a tree and drives his spear deep into a bull's neck. Sam cheers, claiming the beast is officially his. But the bleeding bull thrashes, running completely wild. Gripping on tight, Sam forces himself to stay strong, knowing he can tame this monster. Spotting the herd heading east, Hangu signals Stone Bone, who alerts Sam. Realizing they are off course, Sam forcefully steers the beast to the right, forcing the stampede to charge west. Back at Chen's fortress, the Coconut Grove girls are happily enjoying their meal. As Chen patiently waits for the sign, a guard from the Coconut Grove tribe suddenly comes running in, screaming in terror. Lisa demands to know why she is in such a panic. Crying hysterically, the girl gasps that a massive herd of rabid black bulls has just smashed through their home, destroying absolutely everything. Lisa stands up instantly, ordering a full retreat to protect their base. But don't blink, because she is secretly terrified. Her tribe always avoided those beasts, so what on earth triggered this sudden attack? At the camp, the defenders are completely overwhelmed. They fire their slingshots rapidly, but the stones barely even tickle the rampaging monsters. Desperate, they leap down to save their trapped sisters. But as one warrior jumps, a bull lunges to crush her. Right on cue. Lisa arrives and hooks the beast's leg with her signature whip. Her warriors cheer with relief. Enraged that these monsters dared to harm her family, Lisa screams in fury, taking down a massive bull single-handedly. But the danger is far from over. The bull stands back up and slams directly into Lisa, launching her through the air and knocking away her whip. Luckily, Chen leaps in and catches her mid-air, quickly asking if she is okay. She simply cannot figure out why the herd suddenly stampeded. Meanwhile, Sam, Luang, and Stonebone look away awkwardly, sweating bullets because they are the ones who caused this entire mess. Chen glares at the beasts, barking a threat, asking if they forgot the pain of their old wounds. But the bull just roars and charges, leaving Chen sweating. Does it seriously not recognize him? Is his cloak made of the Bull King's hide not scary enough? Thankfully, the beast hesitates and backs away. Chen smirks, shouting that this herd clearly has a brand new leader. He taunts the new leader, calling it weaker than the last one, and tells his warriors to take it down. Instantly, Chen's clan charges, with Stonebone yelling at Sam to target the boss. With an assist, Sam vaults onto the thrashing beast, desperately trying to tame and ride it. Chen is impressed by Sam's natural talent. As they fight to control the herd, Chen tells Lisa to retreat, but she stubbornly refuses since the danger is still active. Chen blocks her from fighting, warning that these beasts are too dangerous. Since they are low on manpower, rushing in blindly is a literal suicide mission. Lisa falls silent. I know what you're thinking, and yes, Chen is playing this beautifully. He urges her to move her tribe to his camp to heal up and plan their next move. He promises them warmth, food, and complete safety. Ao joins in, begging Lisa to look at her injured sisters. They cannot fight anymore. Does she really want to watch them all die? Finally, Lisa commands her clan to pack up, help the wounded, and retreat north to Chen's territory. Hearing this, a fierce warrior named Ayun gets furious, but she cannot disobey her queen. Chen puts Ao in charge of leading the refugees. She nods, guiding the battered tribe away safely. Meanwhile, Stonebone's crew keeps fighting, and Ayun dives right in. Stonebone tells her to back off as she is scared, boasting they have already got this under control. But she ignores him, slicing another beast. Chen tells Stonebone to leave her be and just focus on securing their victory, admiring her sheer bravery. By nightfall, the entire group finally makes it back to Chen's fortress. A girl named Maya warmly welcomes them, relieved they made it back alive. When she asks where Chen is, Ao explains that the fighters stayed behind to hold off the herd so the injured could escape. Mia tells them they can occupy the newly built cabins. She sighs in relief, knowing that if they had not pushed through their own pain to build these houses, there would be nowhere for them to sleep. Later, Ao reassures Lisa that everyone is safely settled with plenty of food and warm shelter, so she can finally relax. She tells Lisa to get some rest, and Lisa softly thanks her. Ao sighs with relief that the plan worked perfectly, remembering Chen's strategic words. He had explained that this entire plot was designed to absorb the Coconut Grove tribe without shedding blood, since they could not survive another brutal war. Now, only the final move remains. The next morning, Mia asks Hu Xiao if the night passed without any trouble. He confirms he kept guard the entire night. Meanwhile, as Oz stands watch outside Lisa's door, she suddenly senses a large, dark shadow looming right over her. Looking up, she finds Mia standing there. O warily asks what she is doing here. Mia calmly reveals that their king has summoned Lisa to his palace for an extremely important meeting. We cut to Chen checking his system interface when Lisa walks in. She directly tells him that Ao mentioned his plan to merge their tribes, and her answer is a flat no. She will never agree. She warns Chen not to use this temporary weakness to pressure her. Chen calmly replies that he is not forcing anything. Instead, he is offering her an incredibly valuable trade. He will teach them how to build sturdy homes, forge deadly weapons, and master fire. In exchange, her tribe must merge with his. Once more, he urges her to accept his protection. Stepping closer, Chen whispers that raw bravery is not enough to survive. He reminds her that she knows the sheer cruelty of the Bei clan and the Titan Stone clan far better than him. Right now, she is like a wounded deer, and ruthless predators will soon smell her blood. Annoyed, Lisa snaps at him to shut up. She knows the danger, but things are not that simple. She explains that she cannot just force her warriors to bow to a man. She challenges him, asking if he is truly ready to earn their loyalty. Chen simply smiles and accepts. Stepping outside, Chen addresses the Coconut Grove warriors. Since their queen is too injured to duel, fairness dictates he will not fight either. Instead, he nominates Stonebone to battle in his place. Stonebone laughs boastfully, asking who is brave enough to face him. Ayun instantly steps forward, accepting the challenge. He grins, warning her not to cry when he beats her. Ayun tells him to watch out for her flying weapon as she hurls a deadly bone knife. And trust me, you and I are going to want to see how this crazy duel ends. Alright, you and I are diving straight into a massive clash. If Stonebone dodges, Chen is done for. So he blocks the first strike with his axe. But the next blade scrapes his helmet, sending him into a complete rage. With pure fury, Stonebone charges Ayun like a runaway train. Just as she is about to be crushed, a Coconut Grove girl leaps out and hurls a knife straight at his helmet. Ayun sweeps his legs, sending him crashing. Stonebone roars that he is being cheated, but as he falls, Ayun grabs a knife and lunges straight for Chen. Yet Chen stands there, completely unfazed. He had his backup ready. Hidden high on the palace roof, Huang Shir launches a heavy spear to protect him. The strike hits dead on, sending Ayun flying back into the dirt. Immediately, the Coconut Grove girls rush over, screaming at Chen in absolute fury. They claim he rigged the whole duel to trap them in his territory. Tension explodes as everyone braces for a bloody showdown. The girls beg Lisa to give the command, confident they can slaughter everyone present. Even Chen starts sweating a little. This assassination attempt was definitely not in his script. Is Lisa actually behind this, or is she totally clueless? He realizes if the queen ordered the strike, he can just grab her as a hostage right now. But surprisingly, Lisa barks a furious order for her girls to back down. She demands to know if they thought she is an idiot, declaring she will never betray the allies who saved them. She lets the assassination plot slide, but admits they lost the duel fair and square. Then, she tells Chen that Ayun is her clan's most loyal and brave warrior. Ayun only threw her pride away to protect her queen. Lisa admits she knows Chen possesses incredible, almost godlike powers. So, she begs him to show mercy and save Ayun's life, promising her clan's eternal gratitude. Chen keeps a straight face, but inside, he is breathing a massive sigh of relief. This is the perfect pivot, and Chen is back in the driver's seat. Now, watch closely because here is where he makes his move. He tells Lisa not to worry, promising Ayun will live. But one girl begs him to hurry up. Ayun is slipping away fast. Stepping up to help, Chen decides to overlook the assassination attempt for the sake of their alliance. Still, she cannot get off completely scotangent-free. He applies just a tiny dab of his rare medicine enough to stabilize her, but not fully heal her. He saves the rest for his own injuries, then tells them to carry her home to rest for a few days. Witnessing this instant recovery, the girls are completely awestruck, praising Chen like some kind of god. Seizing the moment, Chen embraces Lisa and asks if her people are ready to join his tribe. Blushing with joy, she happily agrees. With a grin, Chen lets her keep leading her girls, on one condition: they follow his ultimate command. But Lisa has one final request of her own. She wants Chen to become her official partner in a sacred ceremony. Chen turns red with excitement, thinking he just hit the absolute jackpot with this gorgeous tribal queen. In his head, he is already imagining the wedding, exchange of rings, their future daughter, growing old together, and eventually walking into the afterlife side by side. Noticing his ridiculously goofy face, Lisa nervously asks if something is wrong or if he is backing out. Chen snaps out of it, insists he is completely on board, and hugs her tight. He tells her to rest up while he prepares for the big event. He orders both tribes to take a break and return in a few days for the massive celebration. Suddenly, his system chimes in, announcing his tribe is officially founded and prompting him for a name. He notices his population is only 46, leaving him wondering why he is short by 4. He dubs it the Newbie Tribe. Next, he plans his move against the Bay Clan, thinking of taking prisoners. But he is not quite sure if captives will actually count toward his official population. Just then, he overhears some girls whispering. They mention how much they liked his smile, but sigh because he is about to end up just like the queen's previous partners, cut into tiny pieces during the ritual and literally eaten. Chen freezes in sheer horror. The queen is a man-eater. No wonder this clan barely has any guys around. Suddenly, a shadow creeps up behind him. He shrieks, begging for his life. It is only Mia, who giggles and asks why he is so terrified. Still shaking, Chen gasps, asking what she wants. She asks if he really wants to marry that bossy queen. Honestly, I know exactly what you're thinking. Time to run. Chen quickly admits he needs to rethink this whole hasty arrangement. Mia lights up, checking if he is serious. Chen groans, saying he thought he was getting a beautiful bride, not a literal praying mantis. Mia starts cheering until Ayun interrupts, demanding to know why she is not resting. Mia blushes, admitting she just wanted to be near him. But Chen sadly asks for some space, suggesting the other girls help build their new camp. Ayun agrees, dragging a pouting Mia away. Still, Mia begs him to choose her instead of the queen. Determined to save his own skin, Chen decides it is time to have a serious talk with Lisa. The following morning, everyone is getting along amazingly well, with the new girls actively helping build shelters. Chen makes his way over to their temporary camp near the farming fields. When he arrives, Ayun greets him, guessing he is looking for the queen. She points him toward the river, calling out to Lisa that her king has arrived. Lisa immediately dismisses her guards. Alone at last, Lisa asks if there is an emergency. Chen plays it cool, saying he only wanted to check on her wounds. She replies she will be fully healed in 2 or 3 days. Then, she teasingly asks if he wants to jumpstart their romance. Gulping, Chen politely declines, then asks what her real name is. She tells him to just call her Lisa. It is the name the previous queen gave her, unused since her exile. Chen shivers, realizing it is either total submission or banishment. He figures she should just rename them the Praying Mantis Clan. Chen asks if the last queen had husbands and where they went. Lisa casually reveals they were all eaten, explaining that their traditional custom is to consume partners to absorb their power. Chen panics even harder, but calms down when she assures him that was the old queen's tradition, and she has absolutely no interest in eating him. Feeling slightly relieved, he asks if she has ever tasted human flesh. Lisa laughs, saying she is a new queen who has never had a partner, so she never got the chance. Reassured, Chen leaves to prepare. Walking away, he thinks maybe he should still chat with Mia. But then Lisa calls out, warning him that while she does not eat people, she will brutally punish anyone who dares to betray her. Later on, Chen walks through the settlement, watching his people work hard. Suddenly, he realizes there are only 7 days left to complete his quest, so he decides to hunt for prisoners to secure his numbers. He tells Stonebone he is heading out. Stonebone is left in charge, with orders to send scouts south to the beach if any emergency arises. But when Chen finally reaches the coast, he is greeted by a scene of total devastation. Has the entire Bay clan been completely wiped out? Dodo birds wander peacefully among dozens of fresh corpses. Chen examines the bodies, noting they are still warm, with zero signs of decay yet. The clash must have happened just moments ago. He leans closer, realizing their claws are razor-sharp and the lethal wounds on the bodies perfectly match those very claws. Did these feral maniacs turn on each other? Finding a survivor becomes a matter of life and death. He spots a corpse with no external wounds, its face frozen in a scream of pure agony. As Chen tries to piece this mystery together, Sam suddenly bursts out of the jungle, screaming that the Bay clan is attacking. Trust me, you and I are not ready for what comes next. Let us dive right into the action hearing the news. Chen rushes back to base, where Stonebone is already telling everyone to huddle up, conserve their energy, and brace for impact. Wooden spears fly through the air, but these rabid Bay clan fighters shrug them off like nothing. With the enemies closing in fast, Stonebone commands his men to keep cool and fight back. Their only rule: do not get dragged into the river, or it is game over. Suddenly, a shower of heavy stones breaks the enemy charge, just as Queen Lisa arrives with backup. Lisa demands answers from Stonebone. Are these really the Bay clan? And why on earth did these southern border dwellers suddenly launch an assault on their home? Stonebone has absolutely no clue. He explains they swarmed out of the South River like rabid beasts before a brutal clash erupted. Without wasting a single second, Lisa leaps straight into the fray. She tries talking to them, but gets nothing but brainless grunts, proving they are completely out of their minds. As Lisa trades blows with one crazy fighter, a massive brute sneaks up to ambush her. Chen intercepts him with a full power swing, but to his absolute horror, the giant shrugs off the blow effortlessly. 2 more enemies lunged at Chen, but Hangu and Langwei step in, taking them down instantly. They warn the invaders that if they want their leader, they will have to go through them first. Chen thanks his allies, telling them to clear out the smaller minions. He begs Lisa to support his people with the crowd, because he needs to focus entirely on the massive threat right in front of him. Nodding, Lisa charges back in. Chen tells his team he is counting on them while he handles this monster. He yells at the giant, saying he has no clue what ruined the Bay clan, but his tribe is completely innocent. He tells him they are fighting the wrong guys, but the beast ignores him entirely. Chen braces himself, demanding to know if the brute has lost his mind completely. The monster's sheer strength and speed are unreal, far beyond any normal human, leaving Chen wondering how to survive. Facing these superpowered beasts, he feels like a fragile, glass cannon fighter. Worse, with his allies nearby, he cannot risk unleashing his axe's secret skill. Distracted for just a split second, Chen misses his dodge, and the beast clamps its teeth onto his hand. Luckily, he pulls back just in time as his sturdy Bull King cloak absorbs the bite. Without that gear, his hand would be gone. Furious at missing, the raging beast charges him again with insane speed. Chen barely evades as the monster rips away his cloak. He breaks into a cold sweat. How is it this fast? If he had not slipped out of that cloak, he would be dead. But then, the brute abruptly stops and freezes. A second later, it backs off. Chen senses something weird here. The massive beast only targeted and tore away the blood-stained section of his cloak. Looking around, he sees On as the only one surrounded by a massive crowd of enemies. That is when the realization hits him. These wild invaders are tracking targets strictly by the scent of blood. In their mindless state, they are guided only by animal instinct, and Chen instantly plots to use this against them. Right on cue, Sam rushes back and asks what the plan is. Chen commands him to grab 2 men and fetch 3 young boar cubs from the pigsty. Sam stares blankly, totally confused, and reminds him those animals were being saved for later. Chen snaps at him to just move. Furious that these invaders are forcing him to waste 3 valuable beasts, he tells Lisa to pull the injured out of the battle line, just as Sam returns with the animals. Chen tells him to release the cubs toward the river. Terrified, the little creatures bolt toward the water for safety, but Huang Shu is waiting in the wings and wounds them with spears. The moment blood is spilled, the mindless horde turns instantly and starts ripping the poor animals to shreds. With the enemies distracted by the feast, Chen orders his men to coat their spears in paralyzing drugs and avoid fatal strikes. But suddenly, Hangu calls out that the monsters are acting weird again. Chen turns and is shocked to see the invaders twitching violently before slowly dropping to the floor. Chen yells at Sam, asking if he poisoned those boars, but Sam denies it completely. This only raises Chen's alarms, and he commands everyone to keep their distance and stay alert. He simply cannot wrap his head around what is happening to this enemy tribe. Later, at the farming zone, the captured invaders are locked up in sturdy cages. Ayun warns the guards to remain alert, but when the prisoners finally wake up, they immediately start begging for help. Ayun sends a messenger to fetch King Chen. When the leader arrives to investigate, he finds the caged invaders begging desperately for just a single drop of water. Chen asks Ayun where Hector, their leader, is being kept. She explains he has been isolated. Reaching his cage, Chen finds Hector also desperately pleading for something to drink. So Chen splashes some water from a canteen onto his face. He asks if Hector can understand him and gets a weak nod. Chen lets Ayun take over the questioning, and she kindly offers the man a drink. Hector croaks that his people need water too, begging Chen to share. Ayun promises everyone will be taken care of, then asks if he is ready to answer some serious questions. Hector angrily demands to know why they were attacked. He admits he had heard the giant stone clan were weird, but never imagined they would do something this insane. Now, pay attention here, because this is where everything gets completely flipped. Ayun asks if he thinks they are the giant stone clan, explaining they are actually the newbie tribe and Chen is their king. Hector mumbles that he has never heard of any newbie tribe, assuming the giant stone clan drove them out. Ayun quickly tells him he is dead wrong again. He was captured because his own people invaded their land. The newbie tribe has absolutely no connection to the giant stone clan. It was the Bay clan that attacked like rabid beasts. Hector refuses to believe it, claiming he has zero memory of any of this. Ayun asks him to share whatever he does recall. He explains they were just living peacefully near the South River. Then out of nowhere, a crying child ran up to him, saying someone had stolen his pet bird. Hector told the kid to stand tall and fight back, assuming rivals stole it. But the boy cried that strange men took it instead. Looking up, Hector saw warriors from the giant stone clan. Enraged, he demanded to know what they were doing on his land. The enemy leader said nothing, simply ordering an all-out attack. Hector was completely blindsided by the sudden ambush. Let us pause for a second, because what Chen reveals next is completely devastating. He tells Hector that he visited their home village earlier, and not a single soul was left alive. Hearing the horrible news, Hector completely breaks down, crushed by the guilt of failing his tribe. Suddenly, a strange leaf slips out from Hector's clothes. Ayun grabs it and hands it to Chen. Scanning it with his system, Chen realizes it is industrial hemp, which causes wild hallucinations when smoked. This shocking discovery puts Chen on high alert, wondering if the rival clan planned this entire thing. While his people tend to the captured invaders, Chen collects the leaves found on all of them. To his surprise, every single prisoner is carrying the exact same drug. He recalls Sam mentioning the rival leader gained some godlike power, but this seems far more demonic than divine. Chen realizes the laced hemp must have forced the invaders into a mindless, drug-fueled rage. He is sure the rival clan set this up, and you and I know this mad attack was no coincidence. You and I are about to see just how dangerous things have gotten. If the giant stone clan sent the Bay clan here to die, this newbie tribe is in deep trouble. Even the powerhouse Hector became their puppet, showing this enemy is a massive threat. Chen checks his stats and realizes 3 extra points of strength won't cut it. He has to level up before the real storm hits. Al warns that Hector is on the brink of a total mental breakdown, meaning they might lose their only source of answers. But Chen insists they can't wait for him to recover because danger could strike at any second. Al asks if an attack on their base is imminent. Chen explains it is complicated, but he is sure the Giant Stone clan used industrial hemp leaves to control and brainwash the Bay clan. Since they are completely in the dark, they must jog Hector's memory immediately to get crucial intel. Chen also tells Stonebone to quit blaming himself for what happened. Once you breathe in that toxic hemp smoke, raw power becomes utterly useless. Chen holds up the leaf for Hector to inspect, and immediately, Hector recognizes that familiar, cursed scent. He barely remembers smelling it while battling those bastards, though it was buried under other foul odors back then. He only recalls that it was incredibly sharp and disgusting. This realization makes Chen tense up. Could the Giant Stone clan be weaponizing multiple poisonous plants? They absolutely must figure out what each herb does before making a move. Hector asks if King Chen plans to target the Giant Stone clan, declaring that his people want in on the action. He vows he will regret it forever if he cannot avenge his fallen tribe. The remaining Bay clan survivors shout for vengeance, ready to do whatever it takes. Chen realizes that while he still needs more recruits for his main quest, they are now only 4 members short. Hector interrupts his thoughts, pointing out their ultra-sensitive sense of smell can easily track those toxic herbs to help Chen. But Chen admits that is exactly what has him worried. Sure, they can sniff out herbs, but their insane sensitivity to blood means that if the Bay clan snaps again, the results will be a total bloodbath. Pay close attention here because this next question is critical. Chen asks Hector what they will do if the enemy releases that toxic, mind-controlling smoke during a real battle. Hector sadly admits they would simply refuse to fight. Chen understands their anger, but warns that blind rage won't solve anything. Chen also warns that Tor might not back them up. But Hector replies that since they are the last of their kind, if Chen grants them vengeance, their lives belong to him. Chen promises that if they swear loyalty to his clan, he will guarantee their revenge. However, he sets a firm condition: not every survivor will get to join the battlefield. Chen asks Hector one last time if they accept. Hector and his people immediately shout their agreement, but as Chen turns to leave, Hector calls out to him. Chen gets the message and orders Ayu and Ayun to release the Bay clan. They are allies now, and instantly, the system announces the tribe mission is complete. Since he finished within 7 days, Chen scores 3 attribute points, a material chest, a heritage plaque, and a bonus surprise gift pack. He can finally breathe. With the quest finally done, he dumps all 3 points straight into his strength stat. Instantly, an overwhelming surge of raw, unstoppable power rushes through his entire body. As the energy settles, he notices his hair has suddenly grown longer, a bizarre side effect of the boost. Moving on, he opens the material chest and finds 1 ton of hematite. This is massive. It means he can completely skip the Bronze Age and jump straight into the Iron Age. Next, he cracks open the surprise gift pack. He is thrilled to receive 3 jars of hematic ointment, a massive upgrade from his last reward. He then summons the heritage plaque and discovers a new civilization item. Unlocking it costs 10 technology points, but Chen does not hesitate. He spends the points, identifying the item as a plaque called the Sense of Modesty. I know what you are thinking, but yes, this means no more code bathing. Chen is genuinely relieved he does not have to worry about anyone seeing Lisa in the water. He absolutely refuses to let anyone watch her bathe. With that sorted, Chen refocuses on his biggest headache dealing with the Giant Stone clan. Right then, Ao arrives. She is utterly speechless, seeing his new, taller, and way more muscular physique. Chen shrugs it off and asks what is up, prompting her to suggest negotiating to clear the air. But Chen knows better, there is no misunderstanding. The Giant Stone clan has already marked them for total destruction. This is easily their craftiest foe yet, masters of manipulating others to profit from the chaos. Terrified, All asks what their next move should be. Seeing her fear, Chen explains that their best move is to fortify their defenses, stockpile food, and avoid provoking the Giant Stone clan until they are completely ready. In short, they must lay low and bide their time. Ao then asks how to divide the 22 newcomers. Chen tells her to split the Bay clan into 3 groups for building houses, gathering food, and crafting traps. Confused by the traps, Ao asks what they are for. Chen explains they will help defend their territory, capturing either enemy warriors or wild beasts to build a secure perimeter. He then assigns her another critical task. With so many extra mouths to feed, they must secure long-term food supplies and stop wasting their leftover meat. So, the whole tribe is learning to make jerky. When Stonebone arrives and stares at Chen's bulked-up body in shock, Chen tells him to focus. He orders Stonebone to heavily trap the nearby mountains as densely as possible. Chen has already assigned helpers and will teach them the first trap layout personally, but he emphasizes that building them is only half the battle. The real challenge is memorizing every single location. Hearing this, Stonebone tenses up, admitting that this job sounds incredibly stressful. Chen lightly taps his helmet, explaining that trusting him with this proves how vital he is to the tribe. This mission must stay absolutely secret. He instructs Stonebone to constantly rotate the workers so that no single person ever learns the location of all the traps in any area. A single leak would be a total disaster. Once everything is set up, Stonebone must report every single coordinate directly back to him. He even wipes away his sketches, warning Stonebone never to put any of this on paper. Every single coordinate has to stay in his head. Though daunting, Stonebone vows to protect that trust. Chen praises his dedication and tells him to rest before they begin tonight. He then places the new plaque outside so the passing tribe members can start learning its meaning. He tells Langu he is heading to sleep until the night crew arrives. But if any sudden emergency happens before then, Langu Chi must wake him up immediately. Lying in bed, Chen wonders how much time they actually have left. There is still so much to manage, from training specialized troops and building barricades to unlocking brand new technologies. The sheer amount of work feels endless, but he takes this rare chance to catch some sleep. When he finally wakes, he is suddenly in a bar, surrounded by gorgeous girls. They introduce themselves as Xiaoya, Lily, and Ta Dan. Chen jokes he drank too much, and you and I are definitely ready for what comes next. Alright, you and I are jumping right back into the action where our main character is finally enjoying some peace after surviving the brutal wild. But just as he settles in with his crew, someone starts telling him it's time to wake up. Chen groans that he's too tired to move, but the girl suddenly claims she isn't who he thinks she is. He guesses a bunch of names, only for her to reveal she's actually Stonebone. Chen wakes up screaming in pure terror it was all just a nightmare. Furious, he demands to know why Stonebone is in his room. Stonebone innocently explains that Chen invited him over, but then grabbed him and started flirting. Chen is absolutely speechless. Thankfully, Langucho cuts in to clear up the hilarious misunderstanding so they can finally get back to work. Later on, Chen starts training the tribe on survival tactics, beginning with a classic spike pit trap. Since their enemies and local beasts are massive, he explains these pits must be incredibly deep and wide to work. Next, he teaches them how to hide the pits perfectly using leaves. He reminds everyone to combine these spike traps with the tripwires they learned before, emphasizing that mixing trap styles is key. He points out that Huang Shir can teach them other designs too. But Hang looks completely lost and admits he doesn't know the first thing about traps. Chen asks if he remembers that moving log from spear training. Just swap the wood for a net, add a trigger, and boom, you have a trap. Leaving them to work, Chen heads off, hoping to finish his interrupted dream. Returning to camp, Chen is shocked to find the entire territory completely empty. Usually, people are already up and busy working by now. He checks the shelters, but the moment he approaches the women's cabin, they scream at him to stay out. When Chen asks what's going on, their tone becomes dead serious. Turns out, some are half naked and refuse to step outside. Chen instantly realizes the heritage plague's new sense of modesty is taking hold of them. Closing the door, he gives them half a day to sew new clothes. If they aren't out by noon, he'll enforce the rules with zero mercy. Standing by the plaque, Chen is amazed by its powerful influence. Right then, Stonebone comes running over, yelling for Chen. Pay attention here, because what they dug up while building those traps is a massive discovery. They actually found flint. This is a massive deal. Flint opens up endless survival possibilities, especially for starting fires. Eager to see more, Chen and Stonebone rush back to the excavation site. Arriving at the spot, Stonebone points to the dug-up earth. But after taking a quick look, Chen realizes there's barely any flint in this area. Since this isn't a dry wasteland, natural flint shouldn't even be here. Sensing something is off, Chen tells Stonebone to dig deeper and examine the dirt. Stonebone nods, noting the soft soil and strange buried lumps. To inspect it, he actually tastes a piece and immediately panics in sheer disgust. It's animal poop, and he instantly wants to throw up. Chen, however, already figured it out. There's a massive ancient poop pit down there. He's totally baffled. Did an ancient tribe live here with advanced toilets, or was this the giant stone clan's old home? Chen tells Stonebone to grab the flint, cover up the pit, and leave no trace. He also orders extra traps, high ground beacon towers, and rotating guard shifts. Stonebone just stares blankly, utterly confused by words like towers and beacons. What on earth is Chen talking about? 4 days quickly pass. Chen walks through the expanded camp, admiring the brand new cabins. For him, this is the very first step toward a comfortable life. Out of nowhere, Mia charges right at him, scaring him half to death. He screams for Languchi to stop her, but it's too late. Mia slams into Chen with a brutal bear hug, accidentally demolishing a brand new house. Languchi frantically asks if Chen is okay and tells Mia to get off him. Seeing Chen in pain, Mia squeezes even harder, crying and begging him not to die. They just finished the cabins and can't lose their leader now. Chen groans for them to stop fooling around, then asks if she just said the construction is done. She nods, proudly showing off 10 new houses built in 2 rows, perfect for 50 people. Pleased, Chen pats her head but warns her to be careful, ordering her to rebuild the house she just crushed. Next, he checks on their food supply. Down at the river, the Bay clan are happily catching fish, while Ao and some girls dry the day's massive catch. Chen notes that compared to digging traps, the Bay clan are natural-born fishers. With their incredible water skills, the tribe now has a huge, diverse supply of fresh food to survive on. Languchi highly praises Chen for everything he's built, thanking him for bringing true prosperity to their people. But Chen isn't entirely satisfied. You might be wondering the same thing he is. Did he handle the Coconut Grove clan the right way, and what tricks will he need next? Languchi tells him not to doubt himself. In this harsh world, only the strong survive. Winning with minimal casualties is a true mercy for both sides. Chen smiles, realizing Languchi has exactly what it takes to lead them on the long road ahead. Chen asks him to inspect the borders, worried the Bay tribe might have more tricks, like those weird frogmen. Meanwhile, Stonebone's crew is busy setting up traps and towers. Chen arrives and asks for a progress update. Stonebone reports that the west, south, and north beacon towers are ready. However, after putting 6 guards on duty, they are running dangerously low on manual labor. To finish this defense line on time, they have to head out early and work the mountainside before darkness falls. Understanding their struggle, Chen decides he and Langucho will join the workforce today. Stonebone tries to decline, but Chen instantly cuts him off. Time is running out, and every second counts. Chen suspects the giant Stone clan used to live here, meaning they probably know this exact terrain far better than his own tribe does. If they launch an ambush while the tribe is still unprepared, the damage will be catastrophic. That night, as Chen works tirelessly alongside his people, he glances toward the western tower and gets a terrible feeling in his gut. Could it just be his imagination playing tricks? Suddenly, blood-curdling screams echo from the southern beacon tower. Chen whips around, spotting the desperate distress signal lighting up the dark sky. He screams for everyone to move. The south tower is under attack. Chen sprints south, thoughts racing. Even with his speed boosted by 2 agility points and knowing every trap location, it'll take 5 minutes to get there. He prays he isn't too late. Meanwhile, at the south tower, Huang notices some perimeter traps have been triggered. He has no idea how the enemy bypassed their defenses and slipped in this deep. Worrying that more hostiles might use the chaos to close in, he decides to hunt the intruder himself. Charging toward a nearby Russell, he thrusts his spear, but a powerful shadow deflects it, forcing him to dodge. To his absolute horror, the shadow relentlessly presses the attack, leaving him with 0 time to react as he desperately raises his guard in panic. Thankfully, the attacker stops, revealing his face. It's Chen. Shocked, Huang asks why he's on the southern side, but Chen demands to know exactly where the traps went off. Huang points toward the spot, confirming he lit the beacon. Chen orders him to gather the backup forces. And trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next. All right, you and I are jumping right into a mystery where the dead silence around these trip traps is a major warning sign. This was definitely no wild animal. With no cries for help, Chen wonders if they are passed out or if an ambush is waiting. But when he peers into the pit shock, it is Lisa. He demands to know why she is running around instead of resting her injuries. But Lisa immediately snaps back, telling him to stop interrogating her and just get her out of there. Chen just grins, teasingly tickling her feet until she goes completely ballistic. But their playful moment shatters when footsteps approach. Lisa frantically whispers that if anyone sees her stuck like this, he had better make sure they keep their mouths shut. Chen freezes and tells her to stay quiet while he handles it. He barks at the oncoming group to stop right there, warning them that approaching any further is incredibly dangerous and could get them killed. Stonebone is totally confused, wondering if Chen walked right into a deadly ambush. Should they charge in to save him? Hang simply says, probably not. Judging by his voice, Chen does not sound like he is in trouble. It feels more like he is hiding something. Stonebone grumbles that Chen has acted weird since the battle. Even the bathing girls are acting distant, and everything feels off. Meanwhile, Chen pulls Lisa out, laughing that he never expected a top-tier warrior like her to fall into his trap. Well, at least they know his traps work. Lisa chuckles, amazed by his bizarre survival tricks. When Chen asks what brought her out so late, she reveals she overheard some gossip from the Bay clan earlier. She explains that a couple of Bay Clan members were wishing they could head down to the coast for some fresh fish and shrimp to build up their strength for work. Unfortunately, the path to the beach is blocked by a vicious pack of hyenas, and nobody wants to risk getting mauled. So, Lisa snuck out to find a safer alternative route. Now pay attention here, because this is where a mystery begins. Chen walked that path 5 days ago and it was clear, meaning someone from the Bay Clan likely lured those hyenas in. Lisa immediately suggests executing the suspected traitors, but Chen quickly stops her. That is not what he meant. He is actually worried about their massive security gaps and realizes they desperately need regular patrols. They must clear that beach road and secure it. After all, the extra seafood is just a nice little bonus. The real prize is dodo birds and their eggs, along with setting up a brand new salt field. So, the plan is set. At dawn, they hunt. Lisa volunteers to organize the patrols and hidden sentries. Even so, she warns him about the risks of expanding their territory so aggressively. Chen just grins and asks if she's worried about him, leaving a flustered Lisa sputtering in denial. She warns that guarding two separate spots with their tiny numbers is incredibly risky. Plus, she reminds him that the beach was already attacked once before by the brutal Giant Stone clan. What if they return? Chen explains that is exactly why the beach is safe now. Their main camp, the coastal outpost, and the enemy mountain territory form a perfect strategic triangle. Lisa admits she does not fully understand his complex military tactics, but since he is the boss, she agrees to the plan. Shortly after, Chen, Hector, Languchi, and several Bay Clan warriors march toward the area where the child spotted the wild beasts. Hector asks the kid if he is absolutely sure about this path, noting there is no scent of blood. The boy insists he saw them 2 days ago, but as he steps forward, a hyena suddenly leaps out. Hector reacts in a flash, striking the beast and pulling the kid to safety. But instantly, a whole pack surrounds them, prompting Languchi to scream a warning. Now I know what you are thinking. Are they in trouble? Not even close. Chen just smiles, calling these monsters mere wild dogs. Hector splits the targets, and the fight begins as their forces easily tear through them. Chen uses this chaos to test the combat skills of their new recruits. Suddenly, a beast leaps straight at him, but he catches it by the throat with zero effort. In minutes, the pack is wiped out. Hector grumbles that the fight was boring, but Chen tells him to save it and keep moving. Deep in the woods, Hector notes that this used to be their ancestral territory. Reaching the destination, Chen points up at the massive cliff where their new outpost will stand. He orders them to build it right against the rock face, big enough for 20 men, topped with a beacon tower and a salt field right next to it. He promises to send extra workers but gives Hector a strict 4-day deadline. For a second, Chen feels like a corporate construction boss, despite doing plenty of heavy lifting himself. Before heading out, Chen orders them to light a signal fire the moment trouble starts. 3 days later, Chen successfully crafts a wooden bow, earning 5 technology points. Right then, Al rushes over to announce that Sam has returned from his mission. Chen meets him, eager to hear if he located any northern tribes to recruit or conquer. Sam reports that after traveling north for a day, he found no humans at all. Instead, he discovered a mysterious lake, a snow-capped mountain, and a strange beast lurking in the water. But before he could get a good look, the monsters sank into the depths. Seeing the daunting snow mountain ahead, a terrified Sam turned back immediately. Chen chuckles, praising him but teasingly asking if he is more afraid of cold mountains than giant lake monsters. Shivering, Sam insists the mountain is far worse, asking if Chen knows the legends. Chen asks what is so scary, but Ao suddenly clings to him in absolute terror, begging him to stay away from that freezing peak. She whispers that the mountain itself is not the problem, but rather the massive giant living just beyond it. Reassuring her, Chen suddenly receives an unexpected quest notification from his system. Locating the giant will reward him with 1 attribute point. Chen is shocked. Why does a scouting mission pay so well when fighting a saber-toothed tiger only gave him 2? He reasons that the giant might just be an oversized human, and observing from afar should be safe enough. Plus, if they have an actual civilization, they could make incredibly powerful allies. Still, he must tread carefully, as one wrong move could doom his entire tribe. But scouting and diplomacy are critical tasks he cannot just leave to Sam and Ao. Chen sends Sam to rest, telling him to enjoy the upcoming feast in 2 days. Sam eagerly thanks him, relieved he does not have to face that mythical giant. IU mentions that Sam seems overly cowardly, but Chen disagrees. He believes Sam has a survival instinct like no other, allowing him to sense deadly threats before anyone else. Chen then checks on the partner's ceremony preparations, and IU confirms everything is set. Chen instructs her to pack travel gear and rations for a party of 4. He plans to lead the dangerous expedition himself. Worried, Ayu asks if he will be safe, but Chen reassures her that it is just a routine scouting trip. He requests food, water skins, and cold weather gear, telling her to thank Skinny for the high-quality tailoring. Since the grand ceremony is in 2 days, Chen decides to leave right after. 2 days later, he finishes crafting a remarkably lightweight hardwood and cowhide shield. He orders his troops to upgrade their gear, right before Ayu calls him to put on his royal robes. As he steps out to roaring cheers, "You and I know this journey is just beginning. Let's dive into this wild journey." Chen wonders if this partner ceremony is basically a wedding, since he only struggled to survive in his past life. But now, he has a tribe, his own people, and a wife. It feels like a dream, but he finally belongs. Chen approaches Lisa, telling her that if he ever disappears, the fate of the newbie tribe rests entirely on her shoulders. Then he loudly declares to everyone that Lisa is now the official queen of the newbie tribe. The crowd erupts, cheering for their new king and queen as emotions run incredibly high. Even Mia starts crying, begging that no one ever replace their king, a truly heartwarming, emotional moment for everyone. As night falls and the tribe heads to sleep, Chen finally relaxes. But then, Ayu approaches with a smirk, informing him that Queen Lisa is waiting for him in the palace. He needs to go to her. Chen blushes thinking about his beautiful bride waiting, but then suddenly freezes, remembering her absolute favorite way of showing affection involves a literal whip. Still, he walks to the palace, deeply curious about what awaits. Gulping down his fear, Chen opens the door and nervously calls out that he is home. But seeing her furious face and feeling that suffocating tension, Chen freezes. Why does it feel like a murder scene? Lisa coldly offers him exactly one chance to explain himself, leaving a terrified Chen asking what he even did. Lisa stands, whips out her weapon, and demands to know if he is still acting dumb. Genuinely terrified, Chen begs her to go easy on him. It is their wedding night, after all. Deep down, he seriously regrets upgrading that whip. Lisa angrily demands to know why he is rushing to leave her for a dangerous journey immediately after their ceremony. He quickly explains his entire plan. Lisa listens, asking if he actually intends to convince the Giants to team up against the Giant Stone clan. Chen admits he is not sure they can win them over. He wants to play it safe, keeping the mission secret. Plus, he still does not get why Sam and all are so terrified of these giants. Hearing this, Lisa offers to join him. But Chen refuses. One of them must guard the tribe, and besides, she has an even bigger task to handle. Naturally, she asks what that is. Chen pulls out a stone sling, promising to demonstrate its power later. He explains that while he is gone, she needs to train a highly skilled stone sling team. The next morning, Chen heads toward the giants' territory with Huang Shu, Hector, and Tina. He is cheerfully singing, but Ayun glares at him with pure hatred. Now pay attention here, Chen is absolutely terrified that Ayun is trailing him, just waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But his hands are tied, since this was Lisa's command. What went down last night was simple. When Chen tried flirting, Lisa snapped at him to stop. She then demanded to know why he did not choose companions from the Coconut Grove or Bay clans. Chen explains he chose Hector because he witnessed his incredible fighting skills firsthand. As for the crucial beach outpost, Stonebone will run things there for now. Lisa did not care about the rest, but insisted she had a condition. She would only feel peace of mind if Ayun went along to guard his side. Lisa stepped close, promising she severely punished Ayun for her past actions. Yet, back in the present, Chen is sweating bullets. Having Ayun walking right behind him keeps his nerves completely shot. Sir Chen literally clings to Han like a lifeline, convinced only Hang can save him if things go south. Meanwhile, Wang mutters that someone is watching them, but shrugs it off as imagination. Hector chimes in, asking if Chen knows about the massive lake up ahead. Chen nods, confirming Sam warned him about it. Hector laughs, guessing Sam saw the beast too. He recalls watching that giant monster swallow a whole leopard instantly as a kid. He was lucky to survive back then, but now, he is actually hoping to fight the lake monster. Chen is utterly speechless. How on earth is facing that nightmare considered lucky? He tells Hector lake beasts do not interest him, only true powerhouse threats, like actual giants, get him excited. Hearing that, Huang Sha visibly flinches, begging Chen not to jinx them. Laughing, Chen says he is just kidding, then asks if giants truly exist. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Giants can't be that bad, right? Well, Huang explains that his old 30-member tribe once met one, and they were completely helpless, scattering in absolute terror. Hangu adds that no survivor could ever forget that horrifying sight. Now, Chen finally understands why Sam and Ao tremble at the mere mention of giants. Hector cuts in, warning everyone not to eat the nearby fruit, recalling how he paid dearly for trying it as a kid. Chen scans it, confirming they are highly toxic. Realizing these strange plants might actually be useful, Chen orders his system to scan them. The results completely blow him away. Every single plant has massive medicinal value. This entire forest is literally a gold mine of healing herbs. Suddenly, he spots something familiar, and a quick scan identifies it as a cereal grass. Chen lights up, thrilled to find real grain seeds. Instantly, a new side quest triggers plant multiple grain types in bulk and successfully grow them within 180 days. They are finally entering the agricultural age. Once they find clay, they can cook and brew medicine. Since the grain is not ripe yet, Chen decides to harvest it later. Suddenly, Chen senses something strange, and it is not Tina's hostility this time. Huang Sha points, and Chen spins around, bracing for an attack. Instead, he finds a leaf packed with tough fibers ideal for rope, cloth, or paper. Chen praises Hang, already dreaming of better clothes, but Hang clarifies he was not talking about the grass. He meant the rustling in the bushes. Suddenly, a hyena steps out. Chen realizes the pack has been stalking them, and those creeping eyes from earlier belong to these beasts. Knowing they want revenge, Chen orders his squad not to let them escape, demanding they wipe out the threat. Let the battle begin. Hector charges in furiously, eager to finish the job. But suddenly, Ayun gets cornered by multiple beasts. Hector leaps to her rescue, effortlessly saving her and telling her not to thank him. As the hyenas begin to retreat, Hector laughs, disappointed they are running. But Chen screams not to let them escape. He is absolutely sick of being constantly ambushed. They give chase, but Chen quickly realizes that even with his boosted agility, keeping up with these fast beasts is impossible. Suddenly, an eerie silence falls behind him. He turns and freezes. Ayun has been grabbed by a bizarre plant monster. A quick scan reveals it is a Crimson King flower, a giant herb that secretes corrosive acid and hunts animals for food. Chen is stunned. A literal man-eating flower. First saber-toothed tigers, then giants, and now this nightmare. This primitive age is getting way weirder than anything he ever expected. Ayun tries stabbing it with her bone knife, but the weapon slips and falls into the flower's mouth, dissolving instantly. The horrific sight leaves everyone stunned. Chen screams at Hangu and Hector to stop standing around and save Tina, but Hangu yells back that they are not just watching. They have been trapped by the monster too. Chen frantically hacks at the vines, screaming for Ayun to hold on. But Ayun cries out, begging him to abandon her, save the others, and run. And that's where we leave it. The monster swallows her. Chen is furious, but must save the others first. You and I definitely need to see what happens next. Alright, you and I are jumping right back into the chaos as hyenas ambush him from behind. Hector throws a rock to keep them back, shouting for Chen to stay away. This was a total trap. Huang yells for Chen to run and save himself while they hold off the pack. But Chen refuses to leave, struggling against the tight vines, realizing these monsters actually are not that fast. The beasts were just using the chaos to their advantage. Spotting a pile of dry wood nearby, Chen takes a massive gamble. He strikes his flint, letting the sparks ignite a massive blaze. To him, there is no monster in this world that a good fire roast cannot fix. The flames engulf the vines, allowing Chen to yank Ayun right out of the giant flower. He immediately checks if she is okay and able to run, knowing they still have to rescue Hang Shu. Seeing Tina's clothes torn to shreds in the madness, Chen hands over his own royal robe. With everyone finally free, they make a run for it. As they flee, Chen throws sparks at dead branches along the way, creating a wall of fire to stop the pack from tracking them. Suddenly, Chen spots a river up ahead and tells everyone to dive in. Safety is right there, but one relentless hyena is closing in fast on Ayun, ready to tear her apart. Spotting the threat, Chen screams a warning and rushes to intercept. The beast lunges at him, but he holds it back. Hector and Hangu watch in terror, too paralyzed to help. Chen orders them to keep moving since the fire is spreading rapidly. He promises to catch up, though he secretly worries he cannot defeat this monster before the raging flames swallow them both. Out of nowhere, a single arrow pierces the air and drops the beast instantly. Shocked, Chen spins around to see who took the shot. It was Tina. Realizing her hidden sniper skills have finally awakened, he asks Ayun if she knows how to shoot. She admits she learned just by watching him, but with a badly sprained ankle, she begs him to leave her behind and run. Pay attention here, because our main character is not about to abandon anyone. He throws her on his back and runs as Hector screams that they are out of time. He offers to carry Huang Shu to move faster, but the old man stubbornly refuses. As they race through the smoke, Ayun whispers that she originally intended to use this moment to confront him. Did he orchestrate that stampede on her clan? Chen asks why she would suspect him, and she simply replies that she already knew he would deny everything. The stampeding beasts were already wounded when they invaded her tribe, but her people could not even pierce their thick hides. So, who did? Chen's tribe, being master beast tamers, only made him look guiltier. But knowing mere rumors would not convince the queen, she decided to assassinate him instead, pressing a sharp bone knife against his throat. She asks if he could even stop her right now. Or, he could simply toss her into the flames to end his troubles forever. But Chen just tells her to grip tight because they are almost safe, and she can try killing him later. She agrees to a temporary truce, but promises she's watching his every move. If he ever betrays Lisa or her tribe, she will end him. Chen asks if that is a deal, then agrees. Ayum gets frustrated that he remains so incredibly stubborn and refuses to admit his guilt. But finally, they plunge into the cool river, escaping the raging wildfire. With two of his companions badly hurt, Chen realizes they must postpone their search for the giant. He tells the group they need to head back to the meadow and gather more healing herbs. A bit later, Hangu sighs in relief as the medicine finally takes effect and the burning pain fades away. Chen tells the injured pair to rest while he and Hector gather more plants. During their search, Hector catches the scent of predators, wondering if it is left over from their previous clash. But then, Chen spots a pack of baby hyenas and realizes something crucial. You and I both know a good beast tamer cannot resist this. Sensing a quest to raise them as hunting companions, he accepts. But just as they turn to leave, a massive roar shakes the entire forest. Ayun gasps at the noise, but Chen instantly recognizes it and freezes. Talk about terrible luck. A massive bear steps out from the shadows, and Hangu screams that it is a man-eating monster. Chen quickly sizes up the situation. Running away is impossible with two injured comrades, so he orders the team to fall back and escape while he draws the beast's attention. Hector and Ayun try to argue, but Chen snaps at them to shut up and move. He tells them they will only slow him down, and they have exactly one shot to survive this. He commands Hector to lead the others to safety, then charges straight at the monster as his team escapes. Within seconds, he is standing toe-to-toe with the giant predator. Chen strikes first, but the bear counters, throwing him through the air and leaving him bruised. Watching this, Hector panics and tells the others to take the baby hyenas back while he rushes to save his king. Hangu yells at Hector to stay back. Having witnessed the king's insane power firsthand, he knows no enemy can easily bring Chen down, and jumping in would only get in his way. So, Hangu demands they follow instructions and retreat. Meanwhile, Chen realizes that last clash successfully locked the bear's absolute focus onto him. His goal is simple: lure the monster away and escape. He taunts the beast into a blind fury, then sprints in the opposite direction of his friends to keep them safe. Once he gains some distance, he figures the group is finally safe, so he prepares to lose the beast and make his exit. But suddenly, another threat ambushes him from behind. Barely dodging the strike, Chen wonders what kind of nightmare has found him now. He half expects a giant rat, but to his utter shock, it is the same saber-toothed tiger he fought when he first arrived. Even the beast seems surprised to see him again. But the reunion ends instantly when the angry bear catches up, leaving Chen in a truly desperate spot. Knowing he cannot handle their combined speed and power, he considers unleashing Pangu's divine energy. But the cost is devastating. He would be left completely powerless and unconscious for days. Worse, even if he survives both beasts, the Stone Giant clan could easily finish him off while he is defenseless. As the apex predators close in, he moves strategically, trying to bait them into fighting each other instead. Suddenly, the system detects extreme peril, activating emergency escape mode. For 600 seconds, his agility skyrockets by 20 points as his strength converts entirely into raw stamina. But the drawback is severe: 33% of his core stats will be permanently lost. Yet, the instant it triggers, a terrifying new power surges through him. Leaping high into the air, he dodges both strikes and causes his pursuers to crash into one another. He is amazed by his explosive speed, but to his dismay, both monsters quickly recover and continue the relentless chase. Why are they working together instead of fighting? After a tense chase, he finally loses them. Still, a bitter taste remains. This escape mode is incredible, but the cost is devastating. Realizing his sprint has carried him all the way to the snowy mountain, he decides to use his remaining buff time to seek the giant. He covers massive ground with every single step, praising his system. Reaching the peak, Chen finally spots a towering figure and wonders if this is the legendary giant. Just like that, the system rewards him for finishing the quest. But wait, because there is a catch. He has to attack this massive titan to earn 10 precious attribute points. Furious, Chen wonders if his own system has completely lost its mind. But before he can complain, one of the giant's pets senses his presence, forcing him to scramble for cover. But those 10 attribute points are just too good to ignore. Deciding to use his insane speed, He grabs a pebble and flings it at the titan. It taps the giant so softly, the colossus does not even notice. All right, you and I are jumping right back in as the giant's pet growls, sensing danger. Chen clears his task for 10 attribute points, but the system immediately throws down stage 3. Defeat the giant alone for 100 attribute points. Chen freezes. A massive 100-point reward is incredibly tempting and could completely rewrite his entire destiny here. He hesitates, weighing his options. But while he is still deciding, the giant gets annoyed by his growling beasts, slams the earth, and roars at them to shut up. That single strike blasts snow everywhere, burying Chen alive. His senses go completely numb, making the monster's terrifying power crystal clear. Chen mutters that not even 10,000 attribute points are worth dying for. Cut to a few nights later at the rookie camp. Lisa asks the patrol squad if they found anything out there, but they apologize. They have not found a single soul. Lisa orders them to expand their search and keep looking. But Ayun grimly admits they should expect the worst, fearing their leader is already dead. Lisa snaps at her in anger, reminding everyone that Chen risked his life for them. Suddenly, a scout comes sprinting in, screaming that their king is back. As Chen limps into camp, everyone rushes over, desperate to see if he is okay. Mia steps forward, noticing An is by his side. She demands to know why he did not light the emergency beacon sooner to rescue him. An explains that King Chen ordered him to keep it quiet. Just then, Lisa pushes through, yelling at the crowd to back off and let him rest. She grabs Chen, disperses the crowd back to their duties, and announces she will take care of him herself. She threatens harsh punishment for anyone who leaks the news of his return, quickly scaring the entire crowd into absolute silence. Inside, Chen is relieved everyone made it back safely, though those hyena cubs are a wild surprise. Now pay attention here, he wants Sam to raise them so they can protect him on future dangerous solo hunts. Lisa snaps back, telling him to worry about his own skin first. No matter how strong he is, he cannot abuse his body. Chen just chuckles, claiming these injuries are no big deal. He claims he is just exhausted and needs sleep, yet he still tries to talk about tribe business. Lisa shuts him up by pressing her leg onto his stomach, slowly sliding it down. Fine, she tells him, but reminds him that a king does not have to carry every burden alone. Besides, she does not want to lose her man. Then, Lisa suddenly presses down on his sensitive spot, making Chen completely freeze and beg for mercy. She finally lets up and tells him to sleep. Chen is left sweating, realizing she is getting way too domineering. Once she steps outside, Languchi eagerly asks how the chief is doing. Later, Chen pulls up his system screen. He is thrilled to see that even after losing 4 points, he still gained 10 overall. The dangerous trip was totally worth it, but he realizes that having insane strength is useless without the speed to escape. Agility is absolute key for survival. So, he dumps points into agility first. The system alerts him it hit 5, reaching a threshold. Now, leveling it up costs double. He wonders if pushing agility to 10 will hit another limit, doubling the cost again. If so, reaching 22 is going to be a massive grind. Do all stats have these thresholds? To test his theory, he decides to push each stat to its current limit. But as he upgrades his stone attribute, a violent energy rips through him, making him feel like he will explode. His clothes shred to pieces as his physical frame expands. He realizes only 2 more stats need to hit their limits. Exhausted, Chen collapses onto the bed, planning to target another threshold with his next points. He passes out. Sometime later, rookie life is flowing smoothly. Let's pause and watch Lisa teaching the tribe how to use slingshots. She gives a demo, landing 6 hits, 1 graze, and 1 complete miss. Suddenly, Chen appears out of thin air, praising everyone for their solid effort on day 1. Lisa spots him and immediately demands to know why he is out of bed. Chen insists he is totally fine, but she spots his brand new pants, suspects he was fooling around, and prepares to punish him. Chen panics, explaining his clothes ripped because his body grew stronger, begging her to let it go. Lisa drops it, announcing the Slinger Squad is ready, though mastering it will take some time. Chen then asks how Huangshu and Hangu are holding up, wondering if their wounds have fully healed yet. Lisa says Hangu refused to stay in bed and feel like a burden, so he went to help Hangshu. But she admits Ayun worries her much more, even though her injuries were actually lighter. Ever since Lisa scolded her, Ayun has been in a terrible mood. Chen tells Lisa that Ayun cares deeply for her and carries a heavy burden silently, so she should be a bit gentler with her. After that, Chen heads back to rest, knowing he needs to journey north soon to harvest those precious millet plants. In the meantime, he plans to keep crafting his new inventions. Later on, Chen designs a number chart from 1 to 9, planning to teach basic math to help build a written language. This successful invention earns him another 20 attribute points. Suddenly, The system alerts him that his technology points hit 100, unlocking a brand new tech shop. He can now trade points for rare tools and heritage plaques, but all sales are final. The system then displays a massive list of advanced items and survival resources he can purchase with his hard-earned points. Hyped by the options, Chen carefully studies the catalog, preparing to make his first big purchase. A major decision lies ahead. With future dangers lurking from the massive giant stone clan and the growing tension with Tina, things are about to get incredibly chaotic. But first, Chen dives into his new tech store, spending 30 valuable points on a heavy iron cauldron, which is a massive upgrade. It is an absolute bargain. He buys it not just for cooking, but because iron is highly versatile. Strapping it to his back creates body armor, and fastening it to his arm makes a shield. But its true value lies in a life-or-death situation, where it can be used to bash an enemy. Chen is so hyped, he barely notices the loud clanking it makes. Hearing the racket, Luang gets worried and rushes inside. He finds Chen doing a bizarre celebratory dance around this strange new metal pot, leaving him completely speechless. Embarrassed, Chen quickly claims he is communicating with tribal spirits. Still, it is time to put the cauldron to good use. He digs a custom fire pit by hand, creating vents for smoke and a slot for firewood. He sets the cauldron over the crackling fire to boil water. To his shock, the system counts this basic act as scientific progress, rewarding him with 10 extra points to fuel his next invention. Back in the modern world, Chen learned a lot from a brilliant professor he admired. He just never imagined he would use that knowledge to survive. Once the water boils, he tosses in fresh seafood for a soup. Stirring the pot, the system instantly grants him another 10 points for inventing a new culinary method. For Chen, this delicious meal tastes twice as sweet. Suddenly, Stonebone rushes in with incredible news. They successfully produce salt by evaporating seawater in their new salt pans, scoring even more system points. Now, their food will actually taste amazing. As a reward, Chen lets him taste the fresh soup first before sending him back to work. The points spent on the cauldron are already refunded, making this his smartest investment yet. After the taste test, Chen orders Luang to assemble the entire tribe with their bowls. Having never tasted properly cooked fish before, the incredible explosion of rich flavors completely catches them off guard. Luckily, there is plenty for seconds. Even Mia downs 2 bowls and still begs for more. You and I would probably do the exact same thing. Alright, you and I are about to dive into another wild chapter with our clever main character, Chen. He assures Ayu that no one goes hungry, promising to whip up another huge batch for the guards. Besides, the folks at the outpost deserve a taste of this delicious food too. In just a few days, he will deliver the fresh fish soup himself, always eager to bring joy to his tribe. To make things even better, he introduces wooden chopsticks so everyone can enjoy their roast beef like civilized folks. Meanwhile, amid the clattering bowls, Chen quietly reopens his high-tech shop to browse for upgrades. With 100 tech points saved up, it is time to buy something useful. He instantly skips the basic math books and farming stoves, knowing they are useless right now. What he desperately wants are high-grade seeds, which the tribe cannot find anywhere, but his plan gets cut short when a guard rushes in, warning him that a northern trap has just been triggered. No human tracks are nearby, meaning some wild animal is likely trapped inside and still breathing. Suddenly, Lisa appears, and her trademark blunt attitude instantly cuts through all the hesitation. She snaps at the guards to stop bothering the leader with minor issues and just put the beast down. Honestly, she is just mad Chen has been ignoring her, forcing our main character to play peacemaker. He promises to bring back something incredible to upgrade the clan, sealing that sweet promise with a quick kiss that leaves her completely flustered. Plus, instead of slaying the trapped beast, he wants to try taming it for the tribe. Leaving the rest of the work in Lisa's hands, they head out. The nettles brought earlier are already gone, meaning they must harvest more. Their main goal is finding wild millet to plant in their new fields. As they march toward the traps, Chen keeps scanning his system for seeds, but finds absolutely nothing. Now, pay attention here because what they find inside this trap is going to leave both of us completely stunned. The beast had been howling desperately, but now it just growls in pain, its injured leg deeply pierced. It is actually another hungry hyena, and one look makes it obvious she resembles a nursing mother pig. Sam, who is highly sensitive to the smell of milk, instantly realizes she is lactating. This has to be the mother of those young hyena cubs they caught. Feeling responsible for the babies, Chen climbs down despite the threat of those sharp claws. They tie her up and easily haul her out. Exhausted and injured, the wild beast is now as gentle as a pet. Now she is Sam's responsibility. Chen orders him to nurse her back to health, which is no easy task. Since the cubs rejected all meat, he has absolutely no clue what kind of food the mother will accept. Sam tries everything, but the starving cubs are only getting weaker. Just as Chen feared, raising these wild, newborn predators is way harder than anyone in the tribe expected. Fortunately, catching the mother might save the pups. The moment they arrived, Chen orders the adult hyena bound, offered some fresh meat, and immediately reunited with her crying babies. With a plan in motion, Sam rushes back to camp. Chen prays these wild creatures will adapt and let themselves be fully tamed. He then sends a warrior to check the other traps while he leads the rest of the group further north. As they venture deeper, more wild beasts appear, but luck is on their side. They stumble upon a patch of freshly ripened wild millet. Waiting even a few days longer would have ruined the entire harvest, making this feel like a blessing from heaven. With some daylight left, Chen decides they should also gather valuable medicinal herbs. It is easily their best harvest yet, with resources piling up fast. But as the sun begins to set, the dangerous predators of the forest start to wake. Recognizing that deep roar instantly, Chen orders his crew to dive into the bushes. Everyone goes dead silent, holding their breath as the massive beast charges in, closing the distance rapidly. Even in extreme danger, Chen refuses to let them drop the heavy crops and herbs. He is not going to waste these precious materials, ordering everyone to stay put. Thankfully, nobody complains. Everyone gets into a hilarious, ready-to-bolt stance just in case they need to flee. Survival is everything here. To Chen, their panicked posture looks so funny he almost bursts out laughing. This roaming beast might actually be their old furry acquaintance. But as the roars fade, the team relaxes too quickly and starts whispering stupid questions, which immediately gets on Chen's nerves. And yeah, I know what you were thinking. Threatening them with a bear is a bad idea, and guess what? The beast hears him and starts charging right back toward their hiding spot. The massive beast roars in agony, crashing blindly into trees and constantly collapsing. It is clear that the creature is severely injured and completely out of control. Stonebone suggests turning the giant into dinner, but they are not the only hunters nearby. A sudden shout echoes through the trees, and the startled bear scrambles away from new pursuers. It is the mountain tribe chasing the beast, the exact group Hector once dead. Consumed by pure rage, he leaps out of hiding and blindly rushes after them. His reckless move almost blows their cover, but Chin violently pulls him back down. The leaves rustle loudly as they crash into the dirt, catching the attention of an enemy hunter. Luckily, the enemies ignore the noise to focus on their prey. Hector is absolutely furious with Chen, believing they just threw away their best shot at payback. But Chen knows that anger makes you sloppy. They are severely outnumbered, and launching an attack right now would be nothing short of a suicide mission. Their only edge is the element of surprise while staying hidden in the shadows. If Hector wants to spill blood, he must wait for the perfect moment, forcing him to stand down. In the clearing, the exhausted bear finally collapses. One of the hunters starts mocking the poor creature, sadistically forcing the dying beast back onto its feet over and over again. However, the mountain tribe chief despises such useless cruelty. The bear had eaten venison laced with poisonous flowers and was stabbed in the gut. Running this far is a miracle, and it deserves a warrior death. Mocking a dying opponent is pathetic, so the chief punishes the foolish warrior by throwing him into a tree. Ordering his men to back away, the chief prepares to end the bear quickly. To deliver the final blow, he unsheathes an extremely sharp obsidian dagger made from pure volcanic glass. The poison bait tactic catches Chen off guard, revealing their impressive intellect. However, his system suddenly issues a shocking command, opposing the kill and ordering Chen to rescue the beast. That means starting an all-out war with a massive tribe to save an animal that tried to eat him. It makes absolutely no sense, but the system already expected his anger. If he declines this rare quest, it will be gone forever. With no time to hesitate, Chen accepts the crazy mission despite the massive danger. Cursing the system with every word he knows, Chen dashes forward. His pure frustration gives him the sudden burst of speed needed to intercept that volcanic glass blade. Chen's sudden, dramatic entrance completely ruins the chief's big show. By daring to steal their hard-earned prey, he puts his entire squad in extreme danger and enrages the enemy. He can only trust the system now, hoping the beast shows some gratitude. The moment he locks in, a new side quest pops up. The bear is suffering from severe plant poisoning and a deep abdominal wound. Chen has only 10 minutes to stop the bleeding and treat the poison, or it is game over. Honestly, he completely forgot about the toxin. Now, you and I are going to have to wait and see if he can actually save this beast without starting an all-out war. There is absolutely no time left to bargain. Alright, you and I are about to watch our main character deal with a massive threat starting right now. The rival chief spots Hector, completely forgetting his name, which instantly makes him boil with absolute rage. Chen did not care about their petty argument. He was too busy staring at the system warnings flashing in front of him. If he failed this mission, the system would shrink his reproductive parts by half. Now that was a brutal penalty. Chen instantly pictured Lisa leaving him with nothing but a field of grain. He absolutely refused to let his journey end in such a pathetic way. Fueled by pure panic, he unleashed his aura to show his power. Chen was ready to risk his life to save the beast, but he told his team to back off and stay safe. Then, chaos erupted. Everyone rushed forward to cover Chen while he treated the massive beast. Fortunately, he managed to stop the bleeding in under a minute, but the real challenge was just beginning. Now he had to deal with a deadly poison, something he had absolutely zero experience with. Everything depended on him, and with their leader out of action, the team began to lose ground. They were staring death in the face. Despite their heavy injuries, the group kept fighting to buy Chen some time. But just as things looked hopeless, the enemy chief suddenly called for a truce. Surprisingly, he respected their fighting spirit. For a ragtag group of wanderers, they had put up an incredible fight. He offered to spare them if they retreated, but Hector flatly refused. He wanted payback right then and there. As far as Hector was concerned, they were just getting started. Even though night was falling, they still had plenty of fight left in them. Watch closely here, because the clock is ticking and our main character only has 6 minutes left to figure out how to stop this lethal poison, all while his allies try to keep the enemy from attacking. But despite their tough talk, Chen knew Stone Bone was on his last legs. If this went on any longer, they would fail, and he could practically hear the system mocking him. To protect his own manhood, Chen was ready to do whatever it took. Meanwhile, the rival chief smiled, accepted their challenge, and dropped into a powerful, menacing stance. He stomped down so hard that the ground shattered, sending a massive shockwave tearing through the area. It was a terrifying display of power that left everyone frozen until Chen stepped in. Sacrificing his own weapon, Chen blocked the blast and kicked up a massive cloud of dust. He wanted to avoid a war, but he had no choice now. This display of raw power only made the chief more curious, wondering what kind of tribe possessed such legendary warriors. He had completely underestimated them. It was not his style to use an entire army to crush such a small group. So, once his curiosity was satisfied, he decided to let them go. He promised to face Chen again in a fair fight with equal numbers. The chief was genuinely glad to have met him, so he withdrew with honor, taking his injured men with him. That included the idiot he had slammed into a tree earlier. The guy was in such bad shape that he had to be carried away. Against all odds, Chen's group survived the disaster. Now, only one major task remained: saving the poisoned bear. As they retreated, the mountain warriors could not understand why their leader had let such valuable prey walk away. But there was a reason. They were out of the magical herb that granted them strength. On top of that, the supernatural power given to them by their sorcerer was almost entirely gone. Chen was clearly a dangerous opponent. He had easily blocked a strike backed by 70% of the chief's power. Seeing how calm Chen remained, the chief knew he was hiding his true strength. His obsidian blade looked far too advanced for a simple tribe. Looking at his weapon, the chief swore to go all out next time. Back at the camp, Chen desperately asked his team for help. Unfortunately, none of them had any idea how to cure this special poison. Some even questioned why they were risking their lives for a wild beast, but Chen did not have time to explain. They just needed to realize this was a literal life or death situation. With only one chance left, Chen decided to combine honeysuckle and bok. Both were known to fight toxins, though he was not sure if they would work on this specific poison. They pried the bear's mouth open and shoved the mixture inside. Let's hold our breath for a second, because this is where the tension hits its absolute peak. With only seconds remaining, the system finally sends a notification that the bear is stable, letting everyone breathe a massive sigh of relief. Only Hector wanted to chase after the retreating enemies. But Chen, speaking like a true leader, pointed out that they still knew very little about the mountain tribe's hidden tricks. Rushing in blindly would only lead to a complete disaster. Even if they won, the losses would be devastating. Chen refused to waste his people, knowing the enemy would return eventually. He needed to gather strength and plan. After making his point clear, he sent the team back to safety while he stayed behind to keep watch over the recovery of the bear. Stonebone was ordered to warn the queen to double their patrols while these dangerous invaders were nearby. Alone in the dark, Chen found the night incredibly long and quiet. Wild beasts kept gathering, drawn by the smell of blood, and he had to fight them off one by one. After spending the entire night battling predators, Chen happily feasted on some delicious roasted meat. As dawn approached, the bear finally woke up and sniffed the air. Spotting the food, it looked at Chen, who kindly offered it a fresh piece of cooked meat. Not sure if the beast preferred cooked food, he also prepared a pile of raw rabbits. By the time morning arrived, both of them had eaten their fill and lay down to rest. Suddenly, The system announced the quest was complete, granting him major loyalty points from the grateful bear. Chen immediately dumped those points into his physical strength, turning himself into an absolute powerhouse. He was thrilled with his new strength, and as if celebrating, the bear offered him some of its own food. Accepting this gesture of absolute loyalty, Chen happily shared the meal. Now that the bear was fully healed, it should have returned to the wild, and Chen expected to say goodbye. But the beast had a completely different plan. It grabbed his clothes, making it clear it wanted to follow him back to the village. A creature this massive would eat a ton, but having a loyal bear companion would definitely boost his prestige. So, despite its clumsy nature, Chen decided to take it along. He officially named the giant bear Shunda, welcoming him as a true member of their tribe. Grateful, the massive bear jumped up to lick and hug our hero. With such a powerful ally now by his side, Chen was ready to track down the rival mountain tribe. Riding on top of Shunda, he easily followed the messy trail the enemy had left behind. But as they traveled deeper, the forest grew incredibly thick, signaling they had reached a massive bamboo grove. This was perfect. Bamboo was not just for building houses. With the right mix of nitrate, sulfur, and charcoal packed inside, he could create highly effective, powerful explosives. With firecrackers, they could completely catch the enemy off guard during their next battle. Even if the explosion was small, the terrifying noise alone would send those warriors running in fear. He already had charcoal and saltpeter, but finding sulfur was a massive hurdle. Since sulfur only forms near volcanoes, Chen opened up his system map to locate the nearest source. Sure enough, a volcano was marked right near the massive glacier. Last time, Chen was too busy escaping to look for resources, but now he was ready to take the risk. And with Shunda protecting him, the journey would be way safer. After double-checking his strategy, he patted the bear and told him to head north toward their destination. And that's where we leave things for now. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens when they finally reach that volcano. See you in the next one. Alright, you and I are about to dive into one wild adventure. Back then, Chen had no time to explore, but now, he is ready. As they creep toward the lake, silence hangs heavy, waiting for the legendary sea monster, but nothing appears. Chen is ready to keep moving, but Shunda suddenly freezes and retreats. Right then, massive bubbles erupt across the water, a dead giveaway that something huge is lurking underneath. Then, a colossal head breaks the surface, roaring as its giant body emerges. It is a literal Tyrannosaurus Rex, searching for a quick meal. A broken rope on its neck suggests this beast once had an owner. A T-Rex was the absolute last thing Chen expected. He and the bear sink low into the tall grass, completely frozen while sizing up the beast. That collar suggests it might be the sleeping giant's runaway pet. If that is true, then the monster that terrified the saber-toothed tiger and left those giant footprints was likely another dinosaur just like this. And if so, that mountain giant has been asleep for at least 15 days. Wasting this perfect window to escape would be crazy. The second the beast looks away, Chen orders Shunda to sprint for the mountain. The bear charges ahead, carrying him deep into the frozen peaks, but the snow gets dangerously thick. They are forced to halt. One wrong move could trigger a massive avalanche with zero way out. To play it safe, Chen slides off Shunda, instantly making the bear nervous. But Chen actually wants to follow on foot, ready to shield his companion if any danger pops up. Chen calms the beast, telling him to stay alert. Bringing Juna along turns out to be a genius move. With every sweep of his massive paws, the bear clears the heavy snow to reveal the ground. Suddenly, a familiar, sharp scent hits Chen. He begins searching. The deeper they dig into the freezing snow, the stronger that unmistakable smell of burnt matches becomes. After some serious digging, they strike gold, a massive sulfur deposit. Now pay attention, because this changes everything for the upcoming war. Chen is absolutely thrilled. With this much sulfur, they can start crafting explosives by tomorrow. Packing up as much sulfur as possible, Chen loads it onto Juna and heads back. As they reach the village outskirts, Sam runs out, totally relieved to see them safe. But nobody expected the massive bear walking right beside him. To prevent a panic, Chen quickly introduces Shunda and tells everyone to stay calm. Naturally, the villagers are terrified of having a wild beast around. Soon, everyone wants to take the giant bear for a spin. Chen would allow it if the bear was down, but he refuses to let Shunda be exploited, promising to find them another mount. With the gear unloaded, Chen instructs Ayu to dry out some bamboo, keeping his plans secret. He then spots Lisa, who is bravely checking out the bear. She is incredibly impressed by the beast and so proud of Chen. But the peace does not last. Right after getting back, Chen receives terrible news. A massive sea monster has appeared near the shore, thrashing wildly and keeping the fishermen completely stranded. The monster is whipping up waves big enough to destroy all their drying salt, leaving the villagers devastated. Hearing the frantic report, Chen calms the panicked messenger down and heads straight to the beach to investigate. Riding high on Juna, he reaches the shore in minutes, finding smashed wooden crates tossing in the rough surf. The beast is an ichthyosaur, a ferocious, fish-like marine predator that is naturally hyper-aggressive. This one is still a juvenile, about 7 meters long, and it is completely bent on shredding anything that moves. Even Chen is stunned by its raw fury, but letting it rampage is not an option. If they do not stop this monster, their entire coastline will be ruined. To win, they must lure the beast onto dry land, stripping it of its aquatic advantage. With the plan set, Chen charges Juno right into the breaking waves to bait the creature. The first clash sends the bear tumbling back onto the sand, but it exposes the beast's soft underbelly. Just in time, Chen leaps off Juna and drives his heavy axe deep into its flesh. The strike only infuriates the predator. It whips around, clamps its razor-sharp jaws right onto Chen, and drags him down. The ichthyosaur dives straight for the seabed, keeping him trapped underwater. Chen knows he will drown long before the monster can even chew, so he uses every ounce of strength to pry its jaws open. Meanwhile, Shunda swims hard after them, grabs the beast by its tail, and drags the thrashing monster back to the shallows. The smart bear completely understood the plan. Still, this battle is agonizing. Trapped in crushing jaws with zero oxygen, no normal human could have survived an ordeal like this. But then, out of the dark depths, a mysterious woman appears. Holding twin daggers, she slices mercilessly across the monster's face, forcing it to release its grip on Chen. Thick blood clouds the water, turning it dark red and hiding his savior. Gasping for air, Chen's limbs go completely numb, leaving him powerless to swim to safety. Fading fast, his last thoughts are of that mysterious girl swimming so gracefully. When Chen finally opens his eyes, he sees Juna standing over him, surrounded by the worried tribe. Coughing up salt water, Chen spots his savior resting on a nearby rock. He calls Alana over to thank her. She is the sea tribe's ultimate swimmer, knowing exactly where to strike to take monsters down. Now, you and I both know this tribe is not known for being geniuses, but Alana, she seems particularly clueless. But since she saved him, Chen overlooks her goofy nature and offers sincere thanks. What really catches his eye are those obsidian daggers she is holding. She explains she snatched them from an evil invader on their land. Alana speaks quickly, but suddenly panics, thinking they want to steal her weapons. She nearly starts a fight until they explain Chen's status, finally calming her down. She cannot remember all the details about Chen, but she does get the main point: he wants to protect her people. Once she realizes he is trustworthy, Alana explains how the mountain tribes suddenly attacked their village, knocking her completely unconscious during the chaos. By the time she woke, her brother Fang and the others were locked in a cave. Forced to do grueling, filthy labor, they reached their limit, prompting Fang to hatch an escape plan. His plan was to ambush a guard, hand Alana the blade, and have her cut the rope to plunge off the cliff into the river. Believing it was her only hope, he ordered her to obey instantly. If she survived, she had to locate Hector, the one person likely to make it out. With Alana's hot temper, she would never survive captivity, let alone make a clever escape plan. So Fang sent her to his most trusted ally. Right on cue, a guard spots their whispering and stomps over to beat them for breaking the rules. That guard's arrogance costs him everything. Fang strikes instantly, using a heavy carcass they were hauling to slam him down. While he is pinned, Alana grabs the weapon, dives into the river, and escapes downstream. And that is how she stumbled onto the massive monster attacking Chen, eventually reuniting with her own tribe on this beach. Hearing her story, Chen urges her to meet Hector at the designated camp, but Alana refuses to go empty-handed while a giant sea monster lies dead. She insists on dragging it back. They heave the beast onto Zunda, hauling it across the sand and leaving a massive track. Mid-journey, they bump into Hector and Stone Bone, who are looking for their king. They definitely did not expect Elena to be there. Her wild tale takes a while to explain, but Hector now knows 10 more tribe members are still trapped. They must launch a rescue before the mountain tribe begins torturing them. But rushing in blindly would be suicide. Chen spends several minutes calming Hector down. But suddenly, dark smoke rising from the peak catches his eye, a signal fire warning of danger on the western mountain. No wild beast could light a beacon on a peak. This is human. And trust me, you and I should brace ourselves for what is coming. All right, you and I are about to watch a brutal clash for survival. That mountain tribe chief promised bloody revenge when he fled, and he was not about to forget it. Now they were back. But Chen had to verify the border himself. He immediately ordered Stonebone to secure the civilians inside the fortress, while the remaining warriors gathered to lock down their defenses against any incoming threat. Hector and Alana rushed to the western mountains to set up a trap-filled ambush before reinforcements arrived. Sprinting back to camp, Chen prayed to the gods that the signal fire was just a false alarm. Thankfully, Lisa was already waiting. Shaken by the recent shore battle, she could not sit still while her mind raced with every worst-case scenario possible. Relieved to see him uninjured, she offered to scout ahead so he could rest. Chen refused. He appreciated her worry, but that signal fire was still practically screaming at him. Besides, if Hector lost his temper and charged the enemy leader, Lisa would never be able to hold him back. So, Chen decided to lead the squad himself, bringing along battle-tested elites like Hanguk, Languk, Sam, and Ao. Lisa stayed behind to manage the defenses and tend the wounded. Thankfully, Sam had mapped a nearby hill with a perfect vantage point to deploy reinforcements if things went south. Chen wanted to keep the group small, but Mia demanded to join. She was tired of being left behind, threatening to follow them anyway. With Lu Tang assigned to guard the queen, Chen's squad sprinted west. By the time they met up with the others, night was falling a perfect cover for their plans. The darkness made their hidden traps and positions nearly invisible, but the mountain tribe was too smart to fall for an easy ambush. They marched forward openly with burning torches. Sensing the hidden danger, their leader suddenly halted his troops right at the edge of the kill zone. He knew Chen was waiting right there and dared him to step out for a fair fight. Now watch this, because how he tracked them down is absolute genius. While everyone stayed hidden, the chief revealed his secret. The forest was dead silent. No birds, no bugs, no frogs. Only a massive hidden army could scare the wildlife away and completely blow their cover. Chen refused to budge, forcing the chief to escalate from insults to threats. He hated relying on Chiz Xiao's dark power, but he hated this waiting game even more. That did it. Chen stepped out to face his enemy head-on. Suddenly, the mountain tribe found themselves completely surrounded, caught at a massive disadvantage. Yet, the chief just grinned, thrilled that their numbers were evenly matched. Raising his massive obsidian blade, he challenged Chen to a duel, ecstatic to finally unleash his raw power without holding back. But of course, Hector was not about to wait. Desperate to avenge the sea tribe, he lunged forward, throwing honor and rules straight out the window. He launched a cheap shot from behind. He was inches away from landing a lethal blow, but a savage mountain warrior blocked him instantly. Muzi threw himself in front of Hector, clashing with pure physical force. Like two wild rams, they tore up the earth under their feet, refusing to yield. At first, Muzi looked like he was losing. He was smaller, but his insane speed and reflexes made up for it. Cheering from the sidelines, the chief praised the save and told him to have fun breaking Hector. Muzi suddenly gathered his strength and slammed Hector into a boulder, shaking the very ground. Even Chen was stunned. Hector had never lost a fight, and watching him get overpowered was terrifying. Right then, another enemy stepped directly under a trap. O instantly cut the rope, sending a massive, heavy log swinging down. That impact would have crushed an ordinary man, but the beast just slapped the log away like a fly. Witnessing that kind of monstrous strength made Chen completely forget about their carefully laid plans. Slammed against the rocks repeatedly, Hector began coughing up blood. Muzi went in for the kill, refusing to struggle against some random newcomer, but Hector barely dodged the lethal strike. You and I both know how stubborn Hector is. Clinging to life, he locked Muzi in a death grip and dragged him toward the river, where he held the ultimate advantage. Muzi dug his heels into the dirt, desperately trying to break loose, but only got stuck. That is when Elena exploded from the water, launching a surprise attack from behind. With Muzi pinned, she should have had an easy kill, but another mountain tribe warrior grabbed Muzi and launched him like a missile straight at Elena, blasting her back into the river. These mountain savages were so fearless they would charge right into deep water just to fight. Elena was forced into a brutal underwater struggle against the new intruder. Amidst the chaos, the twin warriors complained to their chief. He had promised them a good fight, yet the others were getting all the action. They did not care who they targeted. Their eyes locked onto Chen, who was watching his squad struggle. The twins charged him instantly, looking for a quick kill, but Hanguk and Languk intercepted them mid-stride. If they wanted the king, they had to go through his guard first. Splitting their targets, the twins laughed and swore that whoever lost this clash would live in eternal shame. Grinning like absolute maniacs, they dove headfirst into the brawl, ready to risk everything just to taste enemy blood. Meanwhile, Xu Hao scanned the chaotic battlefield, unsure of who to crush first. Eager to help his tribe win, he started searching around for a weapon. Spotting a log nearby, he casually ripped it from the trap ropes, completely ruining the mechanism before hoisting it onto his shoulder. Armed with this massive makeshift weapon, he charged straight toward Chen. The chief hated interruptions, barking a harsh order for him to find his own prey. Disappointed but obedient, Xu Hao turned away to look for Muzi instead. But Muzi was already locked in combat with Hector. Knowing an injured Hector could never survive a 2-on-1 fight, Chen immediately rushed to assist. The mountain tribe chief cut him off instantly. He swung his sword with terrifying force, forcing Chen back and reminding him who his real opponent was. Furious at being ignored, the chief unleashed a relentless barrage of attacks. Every sweep of his dark blade targeted Chen's throat, but Chen's trusty axe managed to parry the deadly strikes just in time. Snarling, the chief warned him to stay focused. He demanded to see Chen's true strength, wanting a legendary duel between kings. Chen realized he could not escape this fight, leaving him powerless to help Hector directly. Desperate, he roared for anyone nearby to stop Shu Hao. At that moment, Shu Hao dragged the massive log, carving a deep trench in the dirt as he slowly advanced toward Hector. Suddenly, the log felt impossibly heavy, forcing him to look back. Mia had waited for Chen's order before making her move, and now she was desperately clinging to his weapon. She could not match his raw power, and Shu Hao easily shrugged her off before lunging with his massive arms to choke her. But an arrow suddenly shot out, piercing the thick skin of his arm. A second arrow flew straight for his eyes. To protect his face, he raised his massive arm, using his thick muscles like a shield of living armor. The beast looked thrilled to have two playmates. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see how this crazy, uneven fight unfolds next time. All right, you and I are jumping right back into this brutal war, where survival is never guaranteed. Sam and Ao are desperately covering their allies, firing at any weak spots they can target. As Chen and the front line engage in a bloody melee, the long-range support tries to back them up. But Ao's trusty bear trap completely fails against the monstrous Shuha. The giant barely flinches, even yanking her down by her own rope. An absolute beast like this requires pure brute force to stop. They cannot abandon the ambush now, so their only choice is to stall him while Sam runs back to camp to get reinforcements. While Ao struggles to salvage the fight with whatever she has, Hector relentlessly presses Muzi. Muzi fights like hell to break free, hammering Hector's back with his fists, but his blows do absolutely nothing. Each punch knocks a deep, heavy gasp of air straight out of Hector's lungs. The sheer force of the impact is devastating, and blood begins pouring from Hector's mouth, but he refuses to stop, relentlessly pushing Muzi toward the water. Eager to end this battle, Hector summons all his remaining strength and lifts Muzi high into the air. He charges toward the river, ready to see if this mountain warrior can actually swim. Hector is just steps away from winning this clash when Alana suddenly blocks him. She desperately begs him to stay out of the water, warning that it is far too dangerous. The fighter thrown in earlier is still lurking there, attacking anything that breathes. Right on cue, hands suddenly clamp onto her head and drag her under. That terrifying sight instantly panics Hector, but his distraction lands him a few more painful hits. Muzi repeatedly strikes every single weak spot, leaving massive red welts across Hector's gray skin. Targeting the exact same spots triggers severe internal bleeding, and finally, Hector collapses. Now, pay attention to this absolute madman even on the ground. Hector refuses to let go. Using his last ounce of strength, he hoists Muzi up and hurls him over his back to crush his head. The impact is brutal. Blood streams down Muzi's face as he passes out instantly. Hector is barely holding on himself, collapsing right beside him while his entire world spins and blurs. Drowning in agonizing pain, Hector leaves the rest of the fight to his tribe, praying for a win. Meanwhile, Languchi and Hang find themselves facing down the deadly twins. The twins have prepared a vicious new trick to test on their opponents. Splitting up, they charge from both sides in perfect sync. Xiao just laughs wildly, completely amused that these rookie fighters think they stand a chance. Noticing Languchi lags slightly behind Hang, the twins strike him in unison to break their formation. They fight dirty, using every cheap trick in the book, and within seconds, Languchi is clutching his blinded eyes. Hang is not about to stand by and watch his comrade go down. He rushes in, telling the cowards to stop beating a blind man and fight someone who can actually match them. Without a second thought, he hurls his hunting axe forward, burying it deep in his enemy's shoulder. Now the playing field is completely leveled, with a wounded fighter on both sides. Disarmed and facing an obsidian blade, he raises a small shield to defend himself. This draws all the enemy's aggro, but that is exactly what he wants. While blocking, he silently counts their steps to signal Languchi when to strike. But the shield is not enough. The enemy slips inside his guard and stabs him right in the stomach, leaving just 2 steps before the strike zone. The twins have absolutely no idea why he is counting, but with only 1 step left, the terrifying truth hits them. Hang grabs the twin with all his strength, locking him in place while Languchi unleashes phase 2. One clean axe swing should put this beast down for good. They are absolutely sure of their victory. Xiao does not realize the danger at first, but when he sees Languchi hovering directly above him, Pure terror sets in as he desperately tries to break free. In that split second, his brother dives in and shoves him aside, taking the devastating axe blow himself. Green grass turns deep red as Xiao watches in horror. Meanwhile, Ao is doing everything possible to back up Mia. Shuha is painfully slow, making him an easy target for her arrows, but his thick hide barely registers the pain. His arm soon resembles a porcupine's back, even though the arrows only penetrate a few centimeters. They cannot keep this up. Mia is struggling just to stand as the heavy log swings wildly in all directions. All needs to find another opening. Fortunately, she spots the rope they used earlier lying nearby. Knowing Mia will pick up on the plan, Ao starts landing arrows right next to the rope. Everyone knows her aim is flawless in the heat of battle, so Mia charges toward it without hesitation. Shuha grows confused when the pressure suddenly stops, thinking his opponents have given up on the game. But that thought does not last very long. Mia treats him like a giant, angry child, teasing him from behind while wrapping his legs in a tight knot. He actually enjoys watching her run circles around him, until his head slams hard into the dirt, shattering his illusion. You and I both saw that clean takedown coming, and Mia is already celebrating her massive win. While several skirmishes have been decided, Hector is not finished yet. He barely gets a second to breathe before Muzi stands right back up, admitting he underestimated Hector's deadly strength. Muzi still refuses to yield, but then, something happens that absolutely nobody could have predicted. That massive swinging log comes flying out of nowhere and strikes Muzi right in the head, sending him straight to sleep. At this point, Hector is ready to admit his brother was right about his insane luck. But this war is far from over as the chief commanders continue their duel. Again and again, they clash and push each other back. The grueling fight drags on until their arms go completely numb. Chen knows he cannot take another heavy hit, but his opponent is also running on empty. Seeing the mountain chief falter, the witch's servant brings him red leaves, ordering him to use the herb even if he despises winning that way. By burning the leaves, the chief can secure a safe retreat, while the servant hides from the toxic smoke in the river to guard their escape. The witch warned him of the stakes, so the servant begs him to choose wisely. Chen immediately realizes the plan. The chief wants to cast off all restraint, power up his body with red ginseng, and unleash Pangu's energy to level the playing field. This red ginseng would give him a massive advantage over his opponent, yet the mountain chief still hesitates to burn it. The witch knew his stubborn personality, which is why she had her servant carry the herb for emergencies. Still, with both leaders hesitating to use it, Chen knows he cannot let this perfect opening slip away. He swings his giant axe with devastating power, sending a massive shockwave that shatters the trees behind the chief. The servant only survives because he notices the attack at the last split second and jumps clear. Feeling Chen's deadly gaze lock onto him, the servant realizes he has to act. If his chief refuses to burn the ginseng, then he will do it himself. Grabbing a torch, he scoops up the dropped leaves, ready to set them ablaze and end this brutal battle once and for all. But the chief suddenly stops him. With one swift slash, he cuts the torch and snuffs the flame, knowing full well this defiance will anger the witch. When the panicked servant demands an explanation, the chief calmly declares he does not trust him. Knowing the witch probably never ordered this, he tells the servant to go back and deliver a message of his own. Clutching the leaves in absolute fury, the servant cannot believe this blatant disrespect. He bitterly warns the chief that the path back to the witch is short, and that severe punishment is coming. Chen watches the drama unfold in silence, even as his destructive power continues to rise. In reality, he is running on pure fumes. After his brutal battle with the ichthyosaur, he had zero time to recover before rushing to the border. Now, even his legendary Pangu energy is completely dried up as his vision begins to swim. Chen knows he is at his absolute limit, and he will be lucky to land even one single blow. After that last strike, he will definitely collapse. His warriors are in no better shape, either. Their stamina ran dry hours ago, leaving them unable to back up their king in this final stretch. All Chen can do now is rely on his raw grit and pray his final strike lands. If he misses, the enemy chief will slaughter the entire settlement. Yet, that is not even Chen's biggest worry. If the chief burned the ginseng, he would have won. Yet, he threw it away in defiance. That wraps up this chapter. But trust me, you and I are definitely going to want to see how this ends. Alright, you and I are jumping into this fight where Chen decides to use raw fists to finish this enemy leader before his own strength runs out. He launches strike after strike, desperate to knock the guy out. But the chief matches him move for move, completely thrilled to fight someone this strong, goading Chen to show his true power. Once both of them are gasping for air, the chief notices Chen's bloody arm. Realizing he did not cause those wounds, he guesses Chen used some forbidden sacrificial ritual for power. This risky move makes the duel even more exciting, but everyone watching knows it cannot last. The chief is running on empty, too. With the witch's divine power draining away, the chief cannot dodge the next blow, so he charges first. He wants a fair ending, promising to spare Chen's tribe if our hero falls. Respecting the noble offer but rejecting any mercy, Chen lets out a savage roar. Their opposing weapons clash with terrifying force, triggering a massive blast that rips a deep crater into the earth. In this tense moment, nobody can tell who survived. The warriors on both sides just stare at the rising dust, praying for a miracle. As the smoke clears, they see the bloody mountain chief slumped inside the shattered rock. No one can utter a word, but the message is crystal clear. The newly arrived tribe has reclaimed their rightful territory. Suddenly, the bindings on Chen's arms snap, unleashing an agonizing wave of pain. If this had hit seconds earlier, he would have lost the duel. That Pangyu power was a lifesaver in the duel, but tapping into it comes with a brutal price. Now, pay attention here because this is where his limits break. His legs completely give out, collapsing straight into Ao's arms, while a sudden cry for help echoes in the background. With his life force draining away, Chen can no longer lead the army. He quickly hands all command over to Lisa, but right before blacking out, he remembers Alana floating unconscious in the water, begging Ao to save her. While Chen is out cold, his loyal tribe members nurse him back to health. Meanwhile, Lisa steps up to lead with incredible skill, only slipping back into the common house at night to watch over him. When Chen finally opens his eyes, he spots her half undressed and quickly plays dead to avoid making things awkward. But the moment she slides onto his bed, his heart starts beating out of his chest. Her fingers trace slowly across his chest as she studies his reaction. Once she has had her fun, she whispers that she knows he is awake. Lisa has absolutely no intention of playing nice. She just wants to tease him, leaving Chen completely flustered. He snaps his eyes open and desperately tries to change the subject, pretending his only focus is the safety of the tribe. Too bad for him, even mentioning Alana does not slow Lisa down as she leans in dangerously close. She murmurs that it is way too late for questions. Mocking his paralyzed state, she threatens to test exactly what he can handle right now. Honestly, Chen has dreamed of a moment like this, just never, while helpless. He always imagined dominating and showing off his peak stamina, but Lisa's aggressive teasing completely ruins that fantasy. Ultimately, he is forced to let her take control, totally destroying his pride as a fearless ruler. Suddenly, the system drops a ridiculous notification. A new quest called 7 Times in a Night, testing if a true king is dominant in every single way. Even worse, one round must last an entire hour for a reward of 5 golden nuggets. The prize is decent, but the penalty instantly kills his mood. Failure means our hero will have his romantic orientation forcefully changed by the system. Looking at his shattered arm and exhausted body after the big fight, Chen thinks death sounds much easier than succeeding here. You and I both know system quests can be insane, but this feels like an impossible boss fight where ending it all seems like the only logical choice left. So, he decides to completely ignore the quest, hoping it will go away. He never expected that his silence would count as agreeing to it. Shoving Lisa back with a frustrated shout, Chen curses this stupid system and its ridiculous demands. This is turning into his worst nightmare, and he is not even allowed to get some sleep. He prays for any kind of rescue, or that Lisa will show mercy and go back to work. Suddenly, fate answers as Shunda. The bear crashes through the wall, grabbing Chen and running off. He has never been so happy to be abducted, even if the quest remains active. But when our hero begs the beast to stop, she just ignores him and keeps running through the woods. As Juna carries him deeper into the wild, Chen starts worrying he is about to become bear food. If he knew this would happen, he might have stayed with Lisa. Resigned to his fate, he tolerates being dragged by Juna's sharp teeth until she drops him outside a dark cave. Clueless about why he is here, Chen carefully scans the mysterious forest surroundings. Suddenly, the massive bear lets out a soft howl, and 2 adorable cubs waddle out to greet her. Chen is totally stunned to realize this giant beast is actually a mother raising kids. Right on cue, the system triggers another alert. Guided by their mother, the 2 little cubs want to join his village, leaving Chen to decide if he will take them in. He accepts instantly, securing some serious muscle for the village's future. Within a few years, these beasts will grow into elite tribal guardians. After finalizing the system prompt, he pulls up his population status. The roster jumps by 20, bringing their military force to 68 out of 98 members, plus 3 giant bears. With his total population crossing 90, a brand new main quest unlocks. Now, Chen must expand his territory to 10 square kilometers and recruit over 300 villagers within 6 months. It has been ages since his last major mission, making this a massive wake-up call. The listed reward looks absolutely amazing, but the sheer difficulty of this challenge is no joke. Even so, there is no turning back now. He needs to ramp up military drills and show the remaining villagers how to cultivate crops. Having 3 man-eating bears on their side definitely gives him peace of mind regarding defense. Riding on Shunda's back, he watches the cubs playing and decides to give them names. This clearly pleases the mother bear, who perks up her ears to hear what he comes up with. Standard names do not really fit giant beasts destined to rip enemies to shreds. Going with his best ideas, he names the brown cub Shun and the red one Shunan. The cubs do not understand their new names, but feeling their mother's happy reaction, they snuggle close. Regardless, Chen's peaceful days are ending, and he will soon be buried in heavy paperwork. Scanning his high-tech system map, Chen analyzes the nearby enemy tribes to prepare for an invasion. This tool is incredibly useful, revealing patrol routes, terrain, and hidden traps without him ever stepping foot inside the western camp. Over the next 2 days, Chen plans to teach the rookies basic farming before heading out on a scouting mission. But right now, his stomach is growling for food. Since the brutal duel, he has not had a chance to eat any of the rare ichthyosaur meat. Fortunately, the respectful tribe members refuse to touch a single bite of the beast without their chief. Everyone knows Chen is the top chef in the village, so they waited 3 days for him to recover. Now, his vacation is officially over, and our hero must pack for his dangerous journey. Mounting up on his massive bear, Chen gets a warm send-off from Ao and Lisa. Trust me, you and I will definitely want to see what he discovers on this scouting mission. Before leaving, he drops the cubs off with Hangi, warns Lisa to make sure the warriors do not blow themselves up with the new catapult, and leaves Alana safe in Ao's gentle care. All right, you and I are diving back into the drama where a memory-wiped girl needed constant watching. Chen kept nagging about her until Lisa got sick of it and literally kicked him out. Still, he couldn't stop worrying about Ao. Sure, she planted the millet perfectly and the fields looked great, but her face was still clouded with deep sadness. Honestly, she hated the idea of him leaving and begged to go to the mountain tribe instead. Lisa shut that down quick, reminding her that Chen had a giant bear protecting him, so stressing out was completely pointless. With Lisa putting her foot down, our hero finally made his exit, leaving the queen in total control. But from that day on, Lisa kept a super close eye on Ao. That girl was just way too obsessed with Chen, tracking Ao's shameless antics day and night. But Lisa was smart, and she wasn't about to let anything slide. Now here's where it gets tense. The second he left, Lisa sent her top spies to tail him. That bear basically stole her husband last time, so she needed to know if this was a real scouting mission. It'd be a total disaster if she found his hidden forest cabin. Meanwhile, out in the wild, Chen suddenly started sneezing like there was no tomorrow. Shivering from a mysterious draft on his bare skin, he figured his unhealed injuries were just acting up. He pushed forward anyway, but a massive, steep mountain blocked his path, forcing him to take a long detour. While his bear looked for a path up, Chen analyzed the cliffs. Honestly, if he were to build a base, he'd copy this mountain tribe's playbook, using high ground as the ultimate shield against enemies. With multiple paths to the peak, he could easily launch a main frontal assault while sending a stealth team to strike from behind. But before he could formulate his plan, border guards spotted his massive bear companion and rushed to confront them. Chen kept his cool, introducing himself and demanding to see their chief. After all, they were the ones who brought war last time. Now, I know what you're thinking, epic showdown, right? Well, they actually refused to fight, warning that their busy leader would slaughter him if he didn't leave immediately. Chen had been nothing but respectful, but these lawless brutes were pushing it. Clutching his battle axe, he debated throwing the first blow until he spotted some strange captives lined up behind them. Usually, slaves would be bound in heavy chains, but these people weren't. In the crowd, he recognized the former mountain chief and Mui, completely free of any burdens. Confused, he quickly ordered Junda to investigate. As the guards stepped aside, Chen wondered how a proud chief could fall so low. But their cruel custom explained it all. They had a witch who drained a loser's divine energy, instantly reducing them to mere slaves. Just like that, the old chief was stripped of his title. A far more powerful warrior had seized control, and that was the monster Chen had to face next. Right on cue, the new chief materialized on the cliffside, looking down on Chen with absolute contempt. He did not even bother coming down to fight, casually ordering his men to eliminate the intruder. These savages are wild, and they sprint down cliffs with harpoons. Trust me, you and I cannot miss what happens next.